Wolfie. Greetings all. First, I'd like to apologize for the huge delay. I mean, between the time that I started the thing, whatever it is. I don't know how to do the Premiere, so I don't do Premiere, so just start and then Wolfie6020. Put the glasses on, dude. Let me screen share. Greetings everybody in the chat, by the way. Thank you very much for your patience. The poor globelings. We're going to see from the from the horse's mouth, from Wolfie's mouth. We're going to hear. Well, we're not going to see from his mouth. We don't see his mouth, do we? He doesn't show his face, strangely. We're going to hear from his own mouth him reading an email acknowledging that if it weren't for the moderators, the one more orbit thing would have looked terrible. That means if you'd not been stopping all these people saying, guys, what the hell's going on with your thing? We would have looked terrible. That's right, they would. They looked terrible because from time to time a comment would go through. Like some of my comments went through. It was brilliant. Right, where am I? What do I want to share? This window. Like comments like this, I'm sure they'll leave the streams up, right? So of course, without the moderators removed all those comments, so people can't go and see Antonio Subirats, who the rest of the world haven't got a clue who I am, saying, I'm sure they'll leave the streams up, right? And they'll go, huh, let's see. Oh, they didn't put the streams up. Anyway, so let me screen share. I'm not going to share the whole clip, although it's awesome, okay? But I tell you what, before sharing, I will put the links this time so that I don't forget or then interrupt myself thinking, wait, did you actually put the link or not? What I'm going to do, any videos I'm going to show, I'm going to first paste the link in the chat. So first is going to be this. Oops, no, it's not. That's the actual chat. Wait. Where is it? Here. Right. Give me a second. Oops. And I always make this expand on the window or zoom in on the window. So it's a little bit easier for people to see. That's the only reason I do it. I don't like it. I kind of resent it when people leave the window small. Like, dude, you know you've got that button, but if I hit that button, I don't know if the stream has stopped. At least if I do it like this, I can see other windows too. Right, so here comes the link into the chat. And this also shows the lag to me and you guys listening. It shows you what the lag is. So I'm pasting the link now. And then you can see the difference between the link and what I'm saying. So you can establish lag. Okay. Wolfie6020, put on the glasses. Come on, video. Oh, dagnabbit. Oh. By the way, strangely, today, YouTube has been very difficult with me. Let me just pause this a sec. Okay, I've paused it. Today, YouTube kept interrupting itself and asking to refresh the window over and over. Everything else, no matter where I went on the internet, was all totally fine. It was just YouTube. It's like interesting. Anyway, here we go.
It's the best I can do.
Come on, for goodness sakes.
Place to hide and keep praying nobody ever finds you.
Try these on.
Look, you crazy mother.
Put these on.
Hey, stay away from me.
Apologies, folks. Interruptions and stuff. I'm going to replay it, because otherwise it's all crappy.
1 week's pay. The best I can do.
Wait!
Hey! You better find yourself someplace to hide and keep praying nobody ever finds you.
Try these on.
Look, you crazy mother.
Put these on.
Hey! Stay away from me.
I'm telling you, you dumb son of a... I'm trying to save.
I'm not gonna play the part because you know, some people might think it's a bit messianic. Now, what ensues is probably one of the best fight scenes ever. Okay. And the fight scene is all about the Caucasian getting the black guy to put on these spectacles.
Look at them, they're everywhere!
That's it. All that he's doing is saying, dude, look. Okay? That's what I'm doing. That's what all flat earthers are doing. We're all saying, dude, look. So let me stop screen sharing that. Now, before I play this, I'm going to play Wolfie acknowledging that if it were not for the moderators, they would have looked terrible. So stop screen sharing and start again, because I have it in a different window. Here. Okay. Let me see. Make sure it's sharing. Yes. This is Wolfie6020's last video. He hasn't made any videos about how excellent the whole thing was, showing the flight, showing the tracking. None of that. He's a bit embarrassed and a bit bitch slapped. You'll see, because I'll read a series of comments that he left to me. So here we go. Let's listen to Wolfie.
We just had steak and lamb chops for breakfast. Oh, there you go. It's a tough night. Yannick has something for you. Just 1 second. Goodbye. Well, actually, one of the most amazing things is that there's a whole theory out there from the flat earthers that we are actually staging this to try and prove them wrong, and that they come with a theory that we're actually going along this flat earth, but then somehow we're time warping back to the beginning of the other side of the earth, and they somehow feel that's more convincing than that possibly we're going around the sphere.
So this video is just a personal thanks to all the moderators who assisted in the One More Orbit chat to keep the chat under control and running smoothly. And one of the advantages of using people who are familiar with the Flat Earth community is that they were able to identify the troublemakers and stomp on them fairly quickly. But I just...
Troublemakers like Antonio Subirás and a few other people in there.
To pass on my own thanks and that of Meredith, who was the media liaison person for One More Orbit.
He's going to read this email. As he reads it, this has obviously not struck him. The first line, he hasn't registered it. Listen.
An email I received from Meredith. Oh my God, without all you guys, we would have looked terrible.
He's not thought, why would we have looked terrible? No, we were orbiting the Earth in this amazing plane. The only people that would have looked terrible are these delusional flat earthers who think the Earth is flat. We should have just left all of that and seen people how delusional these guys are whilst we orbit the Earth north to south. Why would we look terrible? He hasn't. It's not that the penny hasn't dropped.
First, most sincere thanks from our entire team. The pilots absolutely loved what you all did. and there's links to our record-breaking landing. I'll post that link in the description below. We did it, and you all were part of this magnificent achievement. Cheers, Meredith. So my personal thanks, and the thanks of the One More Orbit team, to all those moderators who worked tirelessly through day and night looking after
to try to make us look good. You see, without you guys, we would have looked terrible. So you guys were trying to make us look good.
chat. And a very special shout out to Where's Wally, who was...
Where's Wally? Who's made videos like this one. Responded to me saying, guys, where's Antarctica? And managed to not say, well, Antarctica's not in the globe. He managed to avoid actually saying those words. Really, he actually managed. In all of this video, he doesn't once say, so yes, so Antarctica wasn't on that sphere globe graphic. The Milky Way was, but Antarctica wasn't. No, at no point. Then he makes a video about this. The poor sap hasn't got a clue what he's doing. And this is a wake-up call. This is flat earthers saying to globelings, put on the glasses. Santa Claus is not real. But let's listen to the rest.
Tirelessly behind the scenes to get those moderators approved. So thanks, Wally. You did an absolutely awesome job. I was watching.
There's a pat on the head for you, Wally.
Email traffic between you and the One More Orbit team. Outstanding work. Thanks, mate. And here's a good video worth watching.
It's a crock of no, it's just silliness. Right, now let's stop sharing that. Okay, so Wolfie. Okay, pay attention. Well, wait. I say pay attention. He doesn't have much attention. You see, to be a pilot, really, you need to be able to pay attention for about 20 minutes, and then you can sleep for the rest of the flight if you want, and then wake up before the landing. That's right, I said it. Now, let me screen share this. Now, what I'm going to show you, Wolfie6020, is the real world. I know, it's amazing. This is British Airways Airbus A320-232 Manchester to London Heathrow flight. In this video, I'm not going to play all of it, okay? In fact, I'm not going to play any of it, okay? It takes off and it lands. You know, it takes off, flies, lands, continuous footage, not time lapse. In this video, the pilot says, flight time 35 minutes. In fact, I played that portion right at the start. Forget what I just said.
The cabin crew will be showing you a safety demonstration. It is very important, it is for your safety, and I do ask you to take a moment of time to serve that. Flight time for you is around about 35 minutes.
Around about 35 minutes. It wasn't. It was 20. Saying 35 minutes is almost twice the amount of time. You know how 35 is closer to 40 than it is to 20? Okay, so the flight takes 20 minutes, literally 20 minutes. I tell you what, sod it, I'll show you. It takes off at 11. I'll turn off the sound because nobody likes the sound of a freaking plane. Watch. If you pay attention, you see when it takes off. Okay, look at the line and the engine. And when the engine starts getting closer to the line, that's when it's actually taken off. Okay, and I will pause when it does that. Keep paying attention. You're going faster and faster. Took off. It just took off a couple of seconds earlier. 11:25. Okay, and it lands. Let me see where it lands at 31:27. Same thing. Pay attention for the landing, Wolfie. Oops, sorry, 31. Right. Pay attention. We'll put the audio so you can hear a little bit of the rattling. Here we go. Here we go. Boom. Boom. There. Landed. Okay. It left at 11 minutes and it landed at 31. That's 20 minutes flight. Wolfie, let's close this. What's the distance? It's 154 miles. Close this. Now, you need pad and paper, Wolfie. This is a flight from Barcelona to Manchester. The distance is 856 miles. It takes 2 hours and 15 one way and 2 hours 45 the other way. We're going to engage with a little bit of thinking, Wolfie. Okay, so I'm going to close this. You have the details. You can check the math yourself. I'll put this aside for now and screen share Google Earth, which is your guys' map. Okay? You freaking delusional people. You're delusional. You think Father Christmas is still real, and he isn't. The globe is Father Christmas for adults. Okay. Google Earth, come over. Here we are. Okay. Look, Wolfie6020. I don't know if you've ever been to Barcelona. It's an amazing city. It's really cool. So's Manchester. But I have to say, it's just nowhere near as cool as Barcelona. Just like no chat, like zero. Comparing coolness? Nope. Right. What do I have here? I have the Great Circle route between the two. Okay. Here's Barcelona and here's Manchester. Okay. And what I've done is I've curved the flight for landing. Let me get rid of the grid. We don't need the grid. Grid off. Okay, look. I haven't just done center to center. Okay, can you see all of them? I've curved to landing. Okay, now the curve might be wider. Feel free to correct this, Wolfie. Okay, and the same in Barcelona. Done the same in Barcelona. Okay, whoop. Okay, I've curved the flights for the landing. Oh, this one went wrong, but never mind. Right, now, let me tell you what these are. The straight one is the so-called Great Circle route on a globe. Okay. The one with the kink is the actual real world flight. Let me show you. I think I have it here. No, not here. Is it here? No. I will show this, by the way. I won't show you. You can check yourselves. Go to flight tracker. Okay. This, if you check with flight tracking of actual flights, this is the path they take. What's the length of that path? The circle route is 856. The other is 864, this one. Okay. Now, this is the route between Manchester and Heathrow here. Okay. 154 miles in 20 minutes. Can you see where I'm going? This in 20 minutes. That includes the takeoff and the landing. Okay. So we're going to favor your globe and say, we'll incorporate the takeoff and landing in your flight. Okay. For the rest, which is, let's see how many 154 miles there are between Barcelona and Manchester. You see, just at a glance, if this is 20 minutes, well, let's see, that would be 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour and 20, an hour and 40, and 2 hours, approximately. That looks about right. See? Okay, that looks about right. But let's do the math. And math is not my strongest point. Feel free to check it yourselves. Now, it does 154 miles in 20 minutes. So let's see what fraction of 856 miles, or in fact 864 miles, 154 is. Okay. To see how many 20 minutes there should be between the two. So let's check. 864 divided by 154. 154 equals, oh, there should be 5 20s, shouldn't there? 5.6 20s between the two. Okay. Now let's check. Let me see, make sure I don't get lost. 2 hours 15, which is 75 minutes. Okay, 75 minutes divided by 20. 3.75. So, oh, sorry, my bad. See, math really isn't my good point. 2 hours 15 is 120, and 15 is 135. Okay, 135 minutes divided by 20. 6.75. So now we're going to take 154, which includes the takeoff and landing, and we're going to multiply it by 6.75. So 154 multiplied by 6.75. Good Lord, that's 1,039 miles to get to a place that's 856 miles away. Good heavens. This must mean they don't fly at the same speed. Obviously, they can't. Impossible. Okay? They don't fly at the same speed. Do you see? Did you see? The speed they fly between London and Manchester is not the speed they fly. If they flew at that speed from Manchester to Barcelona at 2 hours and 15 minutes, Barcelona would have to be 1,039 miles away. But wait, the other one was 2 hours 45 from Barcelona to Manchester. So let's check that. Okay, so 2 hours and 45 is 120, 120, 140, no, sorry, 305. So 305 minutes divided by 20 minutes equals 15.25. Now, I might have done that wrong. Wait a second. 2 hours and 45. So that's 120 plus 45. Oh, it's 120. Wow, brain fog. 100. There'll be people in the chat go, duh. 120 plus 45 is 165. God damn it. 165. Oops, sorry. 165 minutes divided by 20 equals 8.25. Okay, so 8.25 times 154. So times 154. Good Lord. When they're going from here, if they travel at the speed that this plane flies, when going from Barcelona to Manchester, well, Manchester must be 1,270 miles away instead of 856, unless they simply fly slower. They fly slower, isn't it? They don't always have to fly at the top speed. So your flights and your speeds are a bunch of nonsense, Wolfie. But you're going to see. Don't just go with what I'm saying. I can make all kinds of errors. So can you, Wolfie. Oh, no, wait. Before I close this. Remember, Wolfie, this is the route according to the map. So now we've changed. Okay, we're putting the speeds to the side. And now we're going on to tracking. This route is the route according to your map precisely, okay? Exactly the way your map said it was going to go. The one more orbit map says that this was going to be the route, okay? Unless your map has these land masses elsewhere in relationship to geographic north. Okay, Wolfie, why don't you plot your route on Google Earth and see if it's different to this one? You'll find it isn't. Now, let's go to the bottom. Let's go to the point in question, the question at hand. This here, the Antarctica bit of the flight, the one that you guys had all the problems with. Okay? Now, why so many different ones? Well, look. This one is the theoretical one from the tracking. So the tracking ends there from Mauritius. Look, the tracking from Mauritius, it just drops, okay? And then it's picked up here. It continues here. It's tracked here. And between the two, it's just theoretical. That's why I was mocking it, okay? See how it doesn't even go near Antarctica? Okay, this is just a great circle route. Wonderful. We can discard that one altogether. Now, I will show tracking that shows this was the path. See this one? This was the path. Now, you might notice this being the path, Wolfie6020, this being the path, is rather different to that being the path. Look, this one. See this one that staggers here? This one? This is the one on your map. That's right. Where does this one come from? Oh, it comes from a buried tracking software. Not from the map. The map said this. But no, apparently the route was this other one. It's this other one that you couldn't track, that you could look at afterwards, but you couldn't track it. Afterwards, you could look at where it had gone, but you couldn't track it. No. Okay, so let's close this first. When there's a discrepancy like this, okay, let's measure the distance between the two. Between here, where your map predicted the route to go, and here, there's 800, almost 900 miles difference. It's nothing for pilots. Now let's close that. Close this. Google Earth. Yes, don't save. And let's go here. Let's listen to this fella.
These sites primarily rely on ground-based ADS-B receivers.
He's explaining. See the green line? That's where the flight actually flew and was tracked. So that's here and here. You might note, if I zoom in, it's pointing ever so slightly east. A longitude line would drop straight down, ever so slightly east. Yeah, I bet. Okay? And here, it's coming from ever so slightly west. It's not coming from directly south. It's ever so slightly west. If I do this, you can see ever so slightly. Okay? Remember, I am an artist. I see things like this, Wolfie. You obviously don't. You see Australia where it's missing on a bloody map, dude. This is the made-up route. Like, literally, this is just a made-up route. They didn't track this. They just made it up. There's a ref probably there somewhere. So let's play.
There are none out here that feed the data to the website. If we go to the...
But there are other places that do. They have different data.
Go back over to Mauritius. We'll see the same thing without...
See? You see? This route here, that you can go to this other thing, this space tracking software, that tracked this route, which is not the route shown on your map, Wolfie. Unfortunately for you, this is not the route shown on your map. Okay?
Space-based ADS-B, the aircraft's tracked in.
See how it's, let me move it this way. See how it's ever so slightly west? Oh, that makes sense. Let's go ever so slightly west instead of south. Yeah, let's.
When it leaves the coverage area of the ground-based receiver, but it's still being tracked by the...
And this is where it's tracked by a not ground-based receiver, by something that you must believe us about. Great. Hey, how come it didn't follow the route that you posted on the site? Never mind that. Okay, well, never mind that then. Let's close this. Let's look at this tracker. Okay, this is 11 hours and 55 minutes of tracking, live tracking a flight. I'm just going to play a portion of it. We're looking at this red. The red flight is the flight we're looking at. Okay. And you might say, hey, why aren't the other planes flying? The other planes aren't planes. The other things, airports. Don't ask me why they're not all there, but like Las Vegas. Anyway, there it is. Let me move ahead a little bit and see where it's gone. Oh, look, see, there it is. Just under 12 hours of live tracking a flight. Are you paying attention, Wolfie6020? Just under 12 hours of live tracking a flight. Look, the time here, where it is, okay, where it is, where it was last seen. Are you seeing live tracking of Santa Claus? NORAD Santa Tracker 2016 live. Now, could they track a plane from here to make it go around the south and arrive here? Could they? Could they? Of course they could. They could say it was Santa taking gifts to Antarctica. You freaking clown shoe. You dishonest clown shoe. Now, before I play this, I'm going to stop screen sharing and sort all the things out. You complete imbecile. Okay. Now, Wolfie6020, you skim through these, but some of your viewers watch these attentively. You and I had an agreement. The agreement was you would show apparent drift on a gyroscope, your gyroscope, and after you showed apparent drift on your gyroscope, I would plot a flight route on my map. That was the deal, Wolfie. Or have you forgotten about your part? And the deal was you first showed a video of a gyro showing apparent drift, the correct apparent drift, not just any drift. Okay, Wolfie, I haven't forgotten. Where's that video? Now, I said to you, when you kept harping on, I'll do my video when you tell me that you started on your flight. I said to you, give me a flight. So now I'm saying to you, make a video with a flight, with all the waypoints that you want me to plot on my map. And I will plot it on my map. And I will share it in flat earth circles whilst we wait for your video of the gyroscope showing the correct apparent drift. So I won't just invent a flight. I will take the flight that you give me, that you have plotted on your maps. Okay, not just figures. You plot it on your map. You understand, Wolfie? Plot it on your map and plot it on Google Earth. And I will use Google Earth and your map, and I will plot it on mine. Understood? Good. Now you're going to put the glasses on, or what? You freaking half-wit. Now I'm going to play a short video, and then I'm going to read some comments. Because you see, I'm not the only one who's trying to get people to put the glasses on. Rory McFace, that's Brendan Slavin, and many other flat earthers are trying to get people to put the glasses on about the flat earth. We've like, forget the globelings, about the flat earth for flat earthers. We're trying to get flat earthers to put their freaking glasses on. So I'm going to play a video that Rory uploaded. Rory, by the way, is a brilliant dude. He's a good guy. I've met the guy. He's one of the real flat earthers. So I'm going to play this video. Enjoy. I hope it plays without too much stuttering and stuff.
It's like, let's start afresh without knowing anything about each other and talk to each other and then see if we can find a common ground, because I don't think we should be enemies.
Okay, right. Let's just rewind a little bit. Okay, I have made. I think it was Jamie's where it all started, and I was watching, and it was the time when, yeah, you was on his new hangout, on his new channel, and anyway, you've seen the comment I made. You've obviously read it, and also, basically, for me, my biggest problem with you, Anthony, was your comment on my video when I spoke about what Nathan said to me. Now, you have to look from where I'm coming from on this, because it was something that happened between me and Nathan. He said it to me, said it to my face, and it was disgusting, right? Then I've got to sit and watch you turn around and put in my comment where I've just clearly, and people have known me for 2 years, okay? I've been open about my life, my family. I've shared totally on here. I've got 3 channels. I don't just do Rory McFizz, okay? So most people get that when I say something, I'm not just saying it for drama. I said it because it happened, okay? So there is where my judgment comes from with Nathan Oakley. Then also the video I did about him attacking me, about being disabled. And he told me, well, he actually put up that I'd killed someone, which is liable. And I was very tempted to go down that road. Yeah, the man's a disgusting pig. He's scum. And from what I'm seeing, I've got people that have left messages from big groups that have absolutely had Nathan giving them absolute shit for nothing. And all they've been is open and kind and inviting him to come on their stuff. But all he's done is been he's been a narcissist. And he is a psychopath. I've been around, I'm 50 years old, mate. I've been around a long time and I've lived a lot. I've done a lot, okay? And I know people and I know what they're like. And I trust my inner feelings, my senses. So really what I'm trying to say is you've got to see where I'm coming from. I've spoken to a guy who I know is filth. His mind is not in the right place. And then when I see someone come on to a video I've done about him, where I've been speaking the truth, and say, well, no, I've spoken to him, he's a gentleman. I'm sorry, for me, someone who resonates with Nathan, which you obviously do, I can't resonate with that. It's as simple. That is where I'm coming from.
Well, let me respond to the Jamie thing first. The Jamie hangout was simply because he got copyright struck the first time. He opened up his second channel, and if you listen to my reasons for why I wanted to stay there at the time, I said it's just there, just in case it happens again.
Right, so it was already in place, wasn't it? It was in place. So he wanted to go back to his original channel where he could, and he had all his subscribers would know that he's gone live, but it was stopping him from having a lot more views or whatever. It was a controlling situation. You was controlling what he was doing. It's there to see.
Yeah, but
there's no buts. That's what happened.
The reason for it was that if he gets it done again, then he's already got the channel set up and running, and people know it's there.
It was already set up and running, and people knew it was going to be there. And like I said in my comment, people like Jamie would have spread the news. It wouldn't have taken long for everyone to know who was already sub to him to have gone to that channel. I'm sorry.
Now with hindsight, though, he's been done a second time for whatever reason.
Because he don't listen. He don't listen. He's been offered so much help. So many people have offered him advice and help. It's, you know.
Yeah, but listen, Jamie's not. He's not totally with it, though, is he? He's not. I don't
He's not stupid.
I don't understand.
Jamie isn't stupid.
Jamie uses to describe himself. He let it out live on air one night. He's on his panel. I was sat there months ago, and I forget how no one asked him like you come across a bit slow, Jamie. It wasn't like that. I don't know how. I think something was getting mentioned about vaccines and autism, and the conversation was flowing, and he popped up with, "I'm on the autistic spectrum." And obviously for me at that point, that explained a few things, you know what I mean? But, yeah, my outing publicly, shall we say, on YouTube started on Jamie panels at the end of February this year. And I've probably been on there 25, 30 times, just look at all the email links in the inbox,
I sorted that troll out. Let me read the rest of this. Anthony Riley's a fake controlling idiot. Although I ran out of memory on the video, he continued to say that he needs Nathan Oakley because of his contacts. This guy is dangerous for Flat Earth. He belittled Jamie and tried to control his channel. Now, if you were distracted with the stuff going on in the chat, with the wrenches and all of that, okay, watch this again. Because what Rory's doing is he's basically saying to Anthony Riley, who I've pointed out is a fake flat earther, if you're aligning yourself with a corrupt person like Oakley, and this is the man that Oakley told to go and screw his leg, this is a man to whom Oakley said the disgusting thing about his daughter. This guy, okay? So he knows, absolutely. He's not believing any of what I've said or any of what anyone else has said. He knows. It was he who told me. It's him. He knows for sure because he said it to him. Just like I know for sure that the imposter is a transgender because I saw it with my own eyes. The leg pit. Okay? So please watch it again if you were distracted with the chat. Okay? And apologies for the distraction in the chat. Now let me stop screen sharing that. And I will read some comments. You see, poor Wolfie, he's been being, oh, right, interesting. Emma Ryder, I have something, an interesting, by the way, guys, okay, if you paste links in the chat for videos that you've either uploaded yourself or that you've seen that you think are really good and you'd like attention bringing to, just paste the chat like Emerald Rider just did. But first, what I'll do is I'll follow with what I was going to do. Otherwise, it would be too disjointed. I mean, this might be a really happy video. And okay, so I'm not sure. Let's see this video. I'm just looking at portions of it. Oh, nice sunbeams. I will play this video. I will play this video, okay? Emma Ryder, I've got it queued. But first I want to finish with the Wolfie silliness. So I have it queued. It looks like a good video, dude. Right, where am I? First, wrenches, okay? The reason I give wrenches to everyone, there's BB Truth. So there you go. The guy was trying to ban BB Truth, okay? Was trying to stop BB Truth from coming in and receiving a wrench. Now BB Truth is here and has a wrench. I did say if he had blocked BB, as in hidden it from this channel, I would just go to my community, look for BB Truth and unblock. I've done it before with a couple of people who emailed me directly. Sorry about that, BB Truth. Now, that's why I give wrenches, because all of the other wrenches can see who the corrupt wrenches are. You see, the only people who can see actions that wrenches undertake are wrenches. So when you see on other channels, the comments just don't make it through, your comments aren't being seen, and you don't know that there are wrenches there because they're not making a comment. This is something David Wise does. he'll sit, not make a comment in a chat, but ban people silently. So people don't know he's there, apart from other wrenches. Other wrenches see timed out or banned, user hidden by DITRH. Okay, this is what they do. So I give wrenches to everyone, so there's transparency. Everyone can see what wrenches are doing. And all of you guys did. So it works. Now, just making a rollie. What I'm going to do is read a series of messages. And it's from Wolfie and Rock Lover and myself. Okay? So I have to put my reading voice on. Hello. That would be the Wolfie voice. It won't. But just bear with me. So you'll notice in it, now I have called him, I've literally in this called him an idiot, a bloody moron, an absolute clown shoe. I've called him. But I've not made that part of an argument. Okay, just said straightforward, you're a clown shoe, dude. The argument was finished. There was no insults in the argument. Okay, the argument is, look, NORAD can track Santa. It's obviously not really tracking Santa because Santa doesn't exist. Your globe proving flight where one of the pilots says, and the funny thing is about flat earthers who think that we're teleporting out and coming back in. I made a hangout yesterday saying, when Globelings criticize this, they're not criticizing the flat earth. And that's what that pilot did. Are you seeing, Wolfie? Okay. Your pilot said, oh, so they just think that we're just flying off and they're just popping it. Okay. What they did in the real world was fly, take off from here, and either, because there's a rather number of flights here that have nothing to do with the one more orbit, that fly from here off this way. Okay. It's interesting, like off this way. So this takes off, doesn't matter where it goes. All that matters is the flight that arrives here, Wolfie. Okay, that's all that matters. And like Bobby Shafto said, the flight that landed there could have taken off from anywhere. Absolutely, it doesn't have to take off from here. I'm just playing along, saying that it came from here, and the flight from here took off. Look at my fingers, Wolfie. Okay, look. I'm playing along with you, okay? Here, the base, whose name I forgot. This plane takes off and this plane takes off. Oh my gosh, it's impossible on the flat earth. No, you just saw it on the flat earth. Look, flight takes off, clone flight takes off. Oh no, but you can't have clone flights, not on trackers. So the Santa Claus is not cloned. It's not that Santa thing. And you'll say, oh, no, that wasn't a real tracker. Okay. What makes you think that this was real, Wolfie Halfwit? You have an email from the woman that was in charge of the communications with the media saying to you, if it wasn't for you guys, we would have looked terrible. We would have looked terrible. Why would they have looked terrible? I watched the streams, not all of them. They were boring as anything. Some of them had really long sequences. Oh, we'll go like this. Sleeping. Like really, like 20 minutes. Or we'll go sleeping. They had these beds made and unmade, but no portion of anybody, no shot of the lights dimmed and people sleeping. Like 2 beds. Yeah. People sleeping, so that would be 2 people sleeping simultaneously. Otherwise, they would just make and unmake the one bed, or maybe just make one bed and one guy sleeps, gets up, goes off, another guy comes and sleeps on the same thing. They're dressed. It's not like they're getting into gym jams. Okay. 2, no footage of anyone sleeping. It would have looked terrible indeed. Yes, people would have said, that's interesting. Why are the beds out? Why is she putting the beds away? Not interesting. Wolfie6020 would have looked terrible. Yes, it was looking terrible. I could see it was looking terrible. Now, for the stream and for the dim-dims, in the same way that Nora tracks Santa for children, for grown-up children, for adult children, the tracking is done on the globe and the flight is done in the same way that the graphic of Santa Claus and the reindeer is done. Only it's people, and those people are walking around, and there's camera cuts between these guys, and you don't know what plane anyone's in. Angus Evans, are you suggesting it's all a hoax? Yes, I am, Angus Evans. Now remember, you don't have a wrench because you've been a bit of a fool. So what was the question I asked that you refused to answer? Think about it and answer it. Because I did ask you a question that you forgot to answer. So go ahead and answer it. Now, what I was going to do is read a comment from Wolfie. Now, one of Wolfie's hobby horses is this. I'm a pilot and you're not, Antonio. So whenever you talk about pilot stuff, I know that you don't know what you're talking about. Like, okay. I saw a transgender and I told that transgender to bugger off from my life. That's real world. I know you don't know what you're talking about, Wolfie, regarding that transgender imposter. So that's what I'm going to look for. Just give me a second. And I will read the comments and I will read Rock Lover's comments. Rock Lover has been there for a long time. Hoax, as if? What do you mean, as if? A hoax. It was the flight was a hoax. A hoax is a thing that's portrayed as being one way that turns out to be a different way. All magic tricks are hoaxes. It's a hoax. You're tricked into thinking one way when what's actually happened is something different. It's just a hoax has more nefarious intent than a magic trick. Magic trick is just for entertainment. Madam Medusa, Rock Lover, never stop your comments. I always love your views. Yeah. And yes, Rock Lover's a treasure. He is. I came for the free wrench giveaway. Dr. Brinson, Honeydew. That's not a very, that's not likely to get you a wrench. If you just said, hey guys, do you see? Because now it makes me think, oh, you came for a wrench. Most people don't come here for a wrench. They come here to see what's going on. So the guy that I just addressed, let us know if you think the Earth, what's your strongest proof that the Earth is either a globe or flat? Just let us know and then I'll give you a wrench. Oh. Angus Evans, you haven't answered the question that I said, so I'm going to time you out. Oh, no, just, nah, never mind. No, yeah. I would just time you out instead. I just accidentally banned you. I don't want to ban you. I want to just time you out so you can take some time. You're suggesting that I take some time. You see, this is a thing that people don't realize. Put user in timeout. Okay, and the comment that he said, which I'm going to read out loud, you need to take a break from all this. It's ruining your health. I'm going to be doing this for maybe an hour or two out of the 24 hours that a day has. But globelings can't look at reality properly. And they imagine that a 2-hour hangout in reality, because all of it is causing them so many problems, that it's just never ending, that's all that someone does. You know, like they don't go out, they don't cook, they don't paint, they don't do anything. No, they just do this. Right, so let me find the thing. Imposter. I was working with somebody yesterday who will remain unnamed on photos. If any of you guys are good at this kind of stuff, please go ahead and do it.
No, you can't.
Ugh. Okay, so taking photos of the authentic, pairing it up with photos as closely as you can with head orientation. You can find all manner of head orientations in the video that I showed, which is Patrick Steer's Taboo Conspiracy video. Don't be too surprised if it gets pulled in the next few days. Although I think Taboo Conspiracy will say, no, sod off, I'm not pulling the video. Okay? If Steer tries to pressure him. But maybe other people will try to pressure him. I don't know. I don't think he would. But I would. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. You know, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. No. Take screen grabs of the heads and line up the eyes. Just pick one of the Steer eyes and line it up with the other two eyes of the other girl. Okay, because you can't line both of Steer eyes with it. Okay, sorry, the imposter's eyes. Just go ahead, if any of you want to do that, make a small video or a small clip or something and send it to me. I've got some, I've done some. They're just not as good as I would like them to be, and I will do them. I will do them when I come around to it perfectly. I'll be able to zoom in and show, look, wonky eyes. Anyway, so I'm in the video about the imposter. The website needs to reload because a problem occurred. That's YouTube. That's what I keep having from YouTube. I've been having that not all day. When I was watching Norm Macdonald, everything was fine. Just sometimes. I watch a lot of Norm Macdonald, by the way. If you don't know Norm Macdonald, you're missing out. So I'm going to scroll. And by the way, the guy whose video I played, that's Orb's Realm. His channel, one of his channels is Orb's Realm. So I'm scrolling down to where Wolfie, who hasn't made a single video comment about the fact that Antarctica was missing in their in-flight screen of the route. Hey, look at our routes going into the middle of empty ocean and there. It's like, shouldn't Antarctica be there? Yeah, but never mind. So, problem, right. Oh, he has, oh, this is another thing that Wolfie does, by the way, okay? He will make a comment, you will respond to it, and then he will amend his comment after you have responded to it. Don't you, Wolfie? Because I've caught you doing this and I've shown you do this in video, okay? He actually does that. Like here, he's just done it there. Never mind. Oh, sorry. I'm just opening the messages so that I don't have to open them whilst I'm reading them out loud. Now, Rock Lover, even though he's a Globelink, has a pretty sharp eye. What the heck is going on with the video? Pretty sharp mind, I should say. Right. Now, considering one of oh, sorry, let me go back to what I was saying. Wolfie hasn't made a single video addressing the missing Antarctica or the missing Australia or the switching of maps for one that had the same route, one that had Australia for one that didn't have Australia, or the routes from the map plotted on Google Earth. Like, nope, none of that, zero, because his viewers would see it. Most of his viewers don't see what I do. It's only some of them. The majority of them don't see what I do. And he, like the other guy, they misrepresent what's being done so that it appears like what's being done is a bit half-witted and just totally wrong. That's what he does. That's Wolfie6020. He is deceitful in the past. Now, I thought that he was just a genuine guy. You can be a genuine guy and deceitful too, you know. Like, when I say genuine guy, I mean not an agent, okay? But, and I still think he's not an agent. He's a very poor one if he is. But anyway, right, I'm going to screen share. First, let me go into the chat, make sure there's no trouble going on. Oh, Doctor. Is it Dr. Jonas? Dr. Bunsen, Honeydew? You say sorry? Sorry for what? I'm going to give you a wrench. And you know, by the way, that whatever your actions, people will see them. All the other wrenches will see your actions, by the way, just letting you know. And if you're a nice, sincere person and you were just joking, I've gone for the free wrench, then apologies. Is it Dr. Jonas? It's Dr. Jonas here. I saw a doctor, somebody addressing him. Dr. Bunsen, no, there's not enough words. Not enough words for what? Not enough words. Like, is it 10,000 words in the English language? Something like that. But anyway, you can keep the wrench. Let's see how you behave. It's brilliant. Anyway. Let's see. Emma Ryder, I called Wolfie out on the fact planes fly pitch up like 3 degrees and it's impossible to fly parallel to a ball. And what he's actually doing is flying, yes. Yeah. So, Wolfie6020, your plane flies at 3 degrees. Okay? At 3 degrees. Your your HDU is set horizontal, and then you fly at 3 degrees. Lo and behold, looks like the horizon has. Do you see? You're freaking idiot. But you did make a very good dance to avoid answering why the moon appeared to be reflected on the top of the clouds, including when the clouds had undulations. You know, that's interesting. That's interesting. A glow of the moon on the clouds, like spotlight glow of the moon on the clouds. You did manage to avoid that, didn't you? Anyway. Oh, that looks good. Telx. Right, so let me screen share and we're going to look at this. This is a long series of comments, but I will share them. We'll read them out. I will not editorialize. I will add any details afterwards, okay? The poor fool. Bearing in mind, his hobby horse is claiming that I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm not a pilot. Okay, but here, he's talking about a relationship like he knows. Okay, so nothing more pathetic than seeing a grown man behaving like a scorned woman. So Patricia dumped you. Get over it, mate. We have all had relationships fail. Reply. Well. Don't you have a lot to say? I said I wasn't going to editorialize, but can you see how this comment, which is replied to this one, says, well, don't you have a lot to say? Could it be because this comment, which is edited, had a whole series of different things and objections and gripes and all kinds of stuff? Yes. Hence why it says, don't you have a lot to say? But right now, it's only 2 lines, really. That's not a lot. Can you see, Wolfie? You get caught out because you're a moron. Okay, so, well, don't you have a lot to say? It's like someone shit on your cornflakes. Did you bother to see the video you're commenting on? If not, you're being just a bit stupid talking about something you know nothing about. The imposter is a transgender, and that's not okay with me. Understood? Now, it says read more. No. Right. Antonio Suarez, a lot to say. That was a 2-minute comment. Who's the poor sod who sits in front of his computer waffling on for hours, mate? So you don't like transgenders, and we saw a picture of Patricia on your video title. And we see a picture of Patricia on the video title. No, the video's called Imposter. That's the real person. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to editorialize. So we don't need to watch your video to see how obsessed and bitter you still are that she dumped you. I read her interview. You sound like a total loser, mate. Unemployed, living on welfare. She could not wait to get away. I don't like people who treat women like garbage, and that is clearly what you do. Regardless of what she said, your own videos prove that. And Rocklover replies, Wolfie. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Edmund Burke. Wolfie, you might be asking why I have defended and do defend Antonio on this Patricia Steer imposter thing. Antonio's only crime, if being a good person is a crime, was to offer what he thought was a friend a place to stay when he was told by her she was to be made homeless. Patricia's ulterior motive was to get Antonio involved in a UK TV flat earth reality show. It was going to be an international reality show, by the way. And yeah, sorry, I will editorialize. Between UK and the US, okay? And maybe Canada. As her romantic co-star, directed by Robert Kiviak, with all the other fake flat earthers, Oakley, Martin, David Wise, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, Skiba and Davidson, Bob Nodell, Jeronism, and the other guys, those are the guys, okay. Patricia was willing to use any tools at her disposal to make it happen. Antonio, against all odds, was profiled, turned Patricia down instantly, and the whole project went into panic mode. Things went from bad to much worse when, in a panic, Patricia Skyped a Canadian Christian flat earth fan of hers, who was in love with Pat, to take his place as the love interest in the reality show. The Canadian's girlfriend, Patricia didn't know about, contacted her cousin, who works for Canadian Intel, to profile the woman calling herself Patricia Steer. He then contacted Antonio to warn him and to get her out of his house pronto. No, this is an error, Rocklover. He contacted me afterwards. It was afterwards that he contacted me. Okay, now, Patricia, having been exposed, she had no idea what Antonio knew. I knew it was transgender. I didn't say it to it because you don't want somebody like that near your kitchen with knives. Needed Antonio off YouTube to keep the information from being leaked. Allegations of violent rape were spread by Stephen Chess, Patricia's ex-gay boyfriend, against Antonio in the hope that Antonio would simply disappear. A lesser man would have done this, and Patricia's secrets would be safe. Antonio doesn't know these secrets, by the way. Only the Canadian, as in, I don't know the actual agency that pays her. But anomaly in Patricia's physical appearance now made perfect sense, and as the penny dropped, yes. Want proof, Wolfie? Go to Flat Earth Hub channel and play 90% truth, 10% lies. I tell you what, guys, we'll play that video here, okay? I am pretty sure you will figure it out. The Canadian Christian name was kept out of the video because it involves Canadian Intel, but I know who it is and have never divulged it for obvious reasons. It gets real serious. Remember, until the allegations of violent rape was used, Antonio only criticized her personality. That's right. Then he adds, by the way, did you know the Imposter did a final hit and run WordPress interview last week and still maintains Antonio violently raped her? You should have said here, Rocklover, after having disavowed the allegations of violent rape. Pat has been retired because the mounting mountain of lies she has told to keep her secrets coming out is at breaking point, and she is a threat to bringing the whole house of cards down. That's right. Wolfie, replies, Rocklover, thanks, and I will read your responses fully and replay later this evening when the family is asleep. Rocklover replies, thanks. Rocklover adds, on the Flat Earth Hub video, read my comments. Last first. Then Wolfie replies, Rocklover, just a few minutes free now to add a little more. I think we will have to agree to disagree on whether Antonio is a good person. I gave him the benefit of the doubt for a while, but I have seen him repeatedly twist and distort information from my own videos. Even when corrected, he still continues to do so. Okay, Wolfie, remember about the deal that you agreed with me to do with the gyroscope and me to do with the map that you haven't come through with? Remember the fact you didn't point about the highlight, you didn't highlight the moon's reflection on the clouds? Those things, those are the things you resent, not anything else. Examples, my artificial horizon videos, his description of how they operate. I didn't give a description of how they operate. But look out for projection, by the way. So I'm going to read out here. This is projection. Repeatedly twist and distort information from my own videos. In the video we watched earlier, where he reads out the email, he then thanks Where's Wally. Where's Wally? You can watch his 2 videos where you see him absolutely distort what I've discussed in my videos. He doesn't mention that Antarctica is missing. He doesn't mention that Australia is missing in the other one. He just none of it. Okay. So here, even when corrected, he still continues to do so. Okay. Examples. My artificial horizon video, his description on how they operate is completely wrong. Deliberate lie or just ignorance, but either way, entirely deceptive. Remember, folks, I have not given a description of how they operate at all. I just showed what it showed. Now, the HUD moon videos, he blatantly presented completely false information about the symbology. Completely incorrect analysis of what the video shows that proves to me his analytical skills are extremely weak. Not so weak that I won't notice Australia missing from a map or Antarctica missing from a map. My faith in his ability to accurately analyze a scenario or evidence is zero, and that is based on numerous real examples where he simply gets it totally wrong. So I agree with you on the point of the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. That is actually the whole reason I make my videos. Really? Then why don't you address the gyroscope that you haven't done yet? What Antonio does is not the action of a good man. His comments and videos are often deceptive and incorrect, which misleads people, and then he takes their money willingly with Patreon links under each video. Remember, folks, at the top of this thread, there's a 2-line comment from him. My response to it was, my, don't you have a lot to say? You see? But here he's saying his comments and videos are often deceptive. Oh, projection, God bless you. You've given us a tool to understand how corrupt minds work. Thank you. As you know, I don't do hit videos on people and focus on facts and evidence. However, on one occasion, I did briefly mention Antonio in a playful jest. He actually addressed the video in my name, right? I chuckled in a playful jest, and he literally went on a rampage over it, producing one video after another, trying to discredit me. Discredit means stop people believing in. That's what discredit actually means, you know? Anyway, it was the response. I don't want people to believe in me. I want people to see what I'm doing, check for themselves, and just, you know, arrive at their own conclusions. It was the response I would expect from a very petty and obsessive man who is easily triggered. Now, Wolfie, your long comment at the beginning where I said, my, don't you have a lot to say? It's almost like somebody shit on your cornflakes. The reason I said that is because you were triggered. That's why you wrote the long, ranting, many-point, attempted hit piece comment, remember? that would be somebody who's easily triggered. I'm just reading this for my viewers to see what you do, because I've called this Put the Glasses On. Most of the viewers already know you're a bit deceitful, and I'm showing here just how you are deceitful. You edit comments after people have replied to them. Now, editing to fix a typo is a different thing, but removing the meat of the comment. Now, let me continue. Now, here's continuing that pattern with the OMO flight. One more orbit, again presenting incorrect information. I've shown the map plotted on Google Earth. None of the globe links have shown that. That's not incorrect information. That's information transposed from a flat map to a spherical map. There's something wrong there. It's either your flat map or your spherical map. And attacking people. Through dishonesty or totally ignorance on the topic, he is still deceiving people with wrong information. Why don't you correct it and plot it correctly on Google Earth? I have seen firsthand the way he obsessively responds when he perceives an insult. Okay. Perhaps they did wrong by him, but the reality is he does now act a scorned woman. He does talk to his computer for hours on end, and I have no doubts he relies on welfare to survive. I do rely on welfare to survive. I have a neurological condition you know nothing about, silly boob. Now, here he's saying he talks to his computer for hours on end. I do, but I'm not actually talking to my computer. I'm talking to you guys. Sometimes I'm actually talking directly to him so that you guys will hear, you know? Anyway, I'm not like editing, making a video and that, talking to his computer for hours. It's like, okay, that's a bit silly. Just a silly thing. What about people who talk on the phone for hours? Is it the device you have a problem with, or the practice? Should I be doing something else with those hours? Anyway, I would quite happily depart this channel and never come back, because he's made me sore about one more orbit. But that gets us back to the good men doing nothing. Antonio presents false information repeatedly, and that deceives people. Wolfie, plot the route on Google Earth and show it. And show how it's correctly plotted compared to the map. If he had a solid record of being correct, I might give him some credibility here, but he has been completely wrong virtually every time he analyzes my videos, and his comments are blatantly incorrect. So as mentioned earlier, my faith in him is effectively zero. That's okay. Rocklover replies, thanks for your reply. I know all about the disagreements between Antonio and yourself over Earth's shape, and even Antonio knows that I agree with your excellent evidence of the globe. Antonio's under no illusions I believe in flat Earth and knows I am a globally. I will not stand by, though, while a person, female or male, it actually doesn't matter other than to prove she is a liar, calling herself Patricia Steer, accuses him of violent rape as a gag order and bully him off YouTube because of secrets. I actually figured out what the person calling herself Patricia Steer was planning and tried to warn Antonio about it at the time. That's right, he did. I thought I was a flying monkey at the time. So Orphan Red tried to warn people too. She tried to warn all kinds of people. But the way these guys work is they say, oh, that person's bad, disregard them. And everybody does. They disregard. Then they look at comments and go, look at them desperately trying to smear. That's the thinking that goes on in the mind of the flying monkey. Look at them desperately trying to smear. Anyway, all Patricia was bothered about was building up the flat Earth and then destroying it, making flat Earth believers look stupid. Behind the Curve documentary happened because Antonio ruined the UK Flat Earth reality show part of it. It's why actor Oakley hates his guts. If Pat had been raped, why did she not go to the police or call her friends, allies, Oakley and Martin, to come and get her? Patricia's own words was she could not drive a stick shift car to the police station. Does she not know police in the UK, like any other country, respond to telephone calls? If she tried to say sex between them was rape, doctors would be involved, and that's not an option as a trans. The very same reason a doctor would be involved to legally stop Antonio calling her a man through the court system. Patricia's own words are, "What's the point of suing him? He has no money." So clearing up, if she is a man or woman, comes down to money, being apparently wealthy, I would think monetary gain was unimportant if indeed she is a woman. Pat could have quashed all the trans rumors easily with just a hair sample, and yet she never has. I haven't the space to list all the incidences of Pat using proxy attack dogs to try and bully people off YouTube to keep her secrets safe, but 3 of the attacks I correctly pre-warned the victims, and Pat had to stop the attacks. That's right. Rocklover contacted Orphan Red to tell her Sonny Peaches is being used to attack you. And because he went around telling everyone Orphan Red is being attacked by Sonny Peaches on behalf of Stay, Sonny Peaches stopped the attack, and eventually Sonny Peaches went away. That's right. Anyway. Rocklover adds, even Antonio's real-life friends say he's unbelievably stubborn and have actually made hilarious videos about it. That's right, they have. I'm like a pit bull with a bone. When somebody does something wrong, nope, I don't let go. Sorry, Jesus. You'll have to forgive me. Now, Rocklover, stubborn. Wolfie writes, stubborn when you're right is one thing. Oh, what is that thing? Is it righteous? Wolfie6020. Is it righteous to be stubborn? It's not when you are right, but when the thing you're pointing out is wrong. When you're pointing out wrong, is that the right thing to do? Anyway, let me continue. Stubborn when you're right is one thing, and I have no issues with that. But stubborn when you are repeatedly proven to be wrong is being dishonest. I was careful not to accuse him of rape, as I simply don't know the full circumstances of that. My issue with him is his continued blatant dishonesty. I have seen it firsthand over many videos and as an extended period of time, so I really don't trust a word he says. I was lucky enough to see the pre-flight planning for that one more orbit flight, and it is 100% genuine, believe me. I did go over both poles exactly as planned, and exactly as not shown on their flight route plan map. Antonio continues to lie, trying to discredit what is a fantastic aviation achievement. Hey, dude, all I'm doing is I'm taking the data that they're showing and plotting it on a globe according to where they're showing the flight to go. That's all I'm doing. And a new world record. The truth of that flight completely destroys flat Earth, and he cannot handle the truth of it. It's like, no, actually, it's very simple to see the trick. You know, like with the Santa Claus tracking off NORAD. Anyway, Antonio knows full well he's not smart enough to produce a real flight plan and never will be. Wolfie, I'm going to repeat again. Present me with a flight plan you'd like me to transpose to my map. Go ahead. I will transpose it, spread it around flat Earth circles, whilst we wait for you to hold your side of the bargain. Okay? Now, the only reason I came to this video is to hold me... The only reason I came to this video is he told me recently he would produce a flight plan that works in his next video, but as usually, he lied. It's like, no. Wolfie6020, I showed the flight plan, which is the flight route, on my map, on a video. I said, this is where they took off, and this is where they went, and they went from here to here, and the plane went from here to here in Antarctica. You see what I mean? He's just not very bright. Believe it or not, but my comment was partially motivated to help him. I see a miserable man full of bitterness, obviously broke and of little means, wasting his life talking to his computer. He seems to have aged 20 years in just a few. I saw a video the other day where he looked much younger and was standing next to Patrick, staring at it like a lovesick puppy. What struck me the most is how much younger he looked. Literally 20 years younger. Look at the stress on his face, the worry lines, the fatigue. This is not a healthy or happy man. Being nice to him is pointless. I tried that, but like many flat earthers, he does know how to respond. That's actually what it says. Okay, he does know how to respond. I think it means he doesn't know how to respond. Or so it is like patting a rabid dog. You can't teach a broken animal like that. You can't teach a broken animal like that with kindness. I think it means treat. Anyway, my actual thought process when I skimmed his video, see, if you skim a video, you're going to miss things, okay? Looking for the flight plan was, God, this guy really is pathetic. I hope he snaps out of it and stops wasting his life on this garbage. What a waste of time. So I pointed the comment out, so I posted the comment, but I fear he is beyond help and will never change. It is obvious he will never produce a flight plan, and so I might as well just write him off totally, as I have done with several other flat earthers, and just focus on my own channel. Thanks for your time. Now remember, all this will never produce a flight plan. He's talking about a flight plan that I agreed to produce after he made a video of his gyroscope drifting. That was the flight plan, not one more orbit. That was an extra I threw in free. The deal was made months ago before the one more orbit thing was even announced. Okay, Wolfie. Anyway, Rock Lover, you've more patience than I would have. I tried using Bobby Shafto's awesome experiment to say, Antonio, you're wrong about the horizon rising to eye level. Bobby has literally bent over backwards to accommodate Antonio. He's not literally, not unless he's a gymnast. I see a deeper, darker agenda behind Flat Earth pushed by people Antonio despises. I see it too. Now, here is my response to the comment that he edited. You'll be able to see the things that he said by the things I'm responding to. Okay? This is how dishonest Wolfie is. His level of dishonesty and hiding and backpedaling and trying to cover his tracks. Unfortunately, he can't delete this comment. So here, Wolfie. First, get this straight. That's not a woman. Of course, you do not know this, but I do. So you have no idea how I treat women. Do you see this? Okay, anyway. And unlike the imposter, I can call on a number of women who would unreservedly tell you whether or not you're right. Just say the word and I'll link you to their channels or Facebooks where you can ask them directly. I can also link you to artist models' websites where models I've worked with have left me references. That's what you do on those websites. You leave references for each other. Anyway, also, that's how you look for work or for models. The models look for work and artists look for models. Now, mate, what would you do if you were me and had offered to house someone who told you they were almost out of funds, savings, and feared ending up on the streets, and you'd offered this despite your own income being very limited, and then that person turns out to be a level and type of crazy I've never seen before, transgender? What would you do if, like me, you had 2 children into whose life you brought this freak of nature? Seriously, what would you do? Would you be sore that it left? I don't think so. So when I read comments from people who don't know that I'd asked it to leave twice before it eventually left, I shake my head at their delusional ignorance. You see, Wolfie, you, like the others, think that you know, when in reality you have no idea whatsoever. None. And I have proof that I asked it to leave twice from my Amazon, where it ordered suitcases, then returned them after claiming that it was going to move elsewhere in the UK, then reordered them to go back to the US when I told the crazy freak transgender to get the fuck out because this move to elsewhere in the UK was dragging on. What proof of anything does the imposter have? Zero. All it does is use manipulative words to pull on the heartstrings, which is how it managed to have me invited to move in with me in the first place. You really are being a fool. So I suggest you ask your wife or your father to read what I've written to you here and ask for their opinion. Maybe they can help you see sense, and then show them the photo comparison of the imposter with the genuine thing. And for your information, I've met 2 other transgenders long ago, one of which was a male psychologist colleague of my mother's at university. So they are not all crazy freak transgenders. Got it? I don't equate transgenders to crazy freaks. I think the whole thing is very sad, which I actually stated in this very hangout. But if a transgender is a crazy freak, then they are a crazy freak transgender. If it was a crazy freak Aussie, I would say the same. Do you imagine that this would mean that I'm saying all Aussies are crazy freaks? That's a dumbass thing to think. So hear what I actually say about transgenders instead of what you imagine I'm saying, you crazy freak Aussie. There you go. Just kidding. So this in response to a comment which he edited here, which is just a 2. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh. My mistake. He didn't edit it. My mistake. Brilliant. Brilliant. My mistake. He did not edit it. He has done in the past, though, and I have video evidence of it. So, correction. And now I will read it, and now you'll see how it makes sense, the shitting on the breakfast. Right. Nothing more pathetic than seeing a grown man behaving like a scorned woman. So Patricia dumped you. Get over it, mate. We have all had relationships fail. The losers cry about it for years. The winners just move on and find someone better. Remember the saying, you need to kiss a few frogs before you find your prince or princess. You seem to be quite obsessive and bitter still. The fact that you are so nasty only shows your true colours, mate. True nature. I was never nasty to any of my ex-partners and remained close friends with a few of them. Me too, Dim Dim. Anyway, my second girlfriend passed away a few years. Oh, that's sad. I don't know why you'd mention this, but never mind. My second girlfriend passed away a few years ago and left me 2 houses and a 7-figure bank account. Why? Because I was like a brother to her, even when the relationship had failed, and had helped her many times in the years that followed. Maybe because she was terminally ill and you wanted some of that money? Maybe. I don't know. Do you think Patricia has you in her will after the way you rubbish her? Grow up, let it go. Stop wasting your life in a in the dingy dark room talking to your computer for hours, mate. You have been destroyed on the One More Orbit tracking too. Don't think so. I told you, wait for all the data. Epic fail again. Take a close look at how sad your life looks to the audience and wake up. Now, correction, I'm saying correction, he did not edit this. It's just it's the kind of thing that he does. And my bad. I just assumed that he had done because he's done it so many freaking times. Anyway, so I read just this part. Anyway, Wolfie, give me a flight route. I will plot it. Let me go here to a portion where I'm showing the comparison just whilst I'm talking. Oh no, let me stop screen sharing. I will plot it and pass it around flatter circles. Okay, Wolfie, are you hearing? Let's move on from this imposter gibberish you know absolutely nothing about. Okay, just let's move on from that. Maybe don't do things like tell people an ex of yours left you a lot of money because you were kind to her. which means you were very kind to somebody who was very wealthy and who then died. Was it an accident or was it a long illness? Were you helping it so much without knowing it was going to have an accident, or were you helping it so much because it had an illness? I don't know. Tell us, Wolfie. Now, plot a route on your maps, on your Google Earth, make a video, present it to me. I will make a video showing that on my map. It's showing all the markers that you indicate, and I will pass it around flat earth circles so that everybody that I trust and all the people that they trust know that it's been done. And then we'll wait for you to do your gyroscope video. Okay, Wolfie? Interesting how you forget to mention the gyroscope thing at all. Like none. Just like it's funny that you don't mention that nobody but flat earthers have plotted that route on Google Earth. And funny how you don't mention the second map has Australia missing and the in-flight map has Antarctica missing. Dude, and you haven't even picked up on the fact that the media rep said they would have looked terrible without your help. That's very sad, very sad. Now, you might say, oh, I'm deceitful and I misdirected people, telling them all that you'd edited and stuff. But you see, in that same video, where I saw that there was a read more, I hit read more and it opened and then I read it. Those aren't the actions of a deceitful person. In fact, people watching go, if they're seen, they're going, oh, hey, you didn't hit read more. I didn't hit read more, and then hit read more and read it. And oh, okay. Do you see, Wolfie? Do you see how you're projecting deceit? And now that you've said this about the girlfriend, I think there's something deeply, deeply wrong with you. I really do. I think you were helping this girl because she was very wealthy, Wolfie. I really do. Now, knowing how manipulative you are, Wolfie, and how you cover and you cover your tracks and how you avoid mentioning things and the things that you do mention, like what, in fact, one of my ex-girlfriends, that's manipulative, Wolfie. That's emotionally manipulative. So when I say, I think you might have emotionally manipulated this poor woman, I think I'm fucking right. And I think you're a bit of a dirtbag, Wolfie. Wow. Anyway, now I'm going to screen share. I don't know what's gone in the chat. Somebody's put highlighted. What? Just let your words do the talking. Skip rest of this bullshit. Yes. Sorry. Just let your word do the talking. Oh yes, dude. I was going to. I thought of calling this. Like last visit, I hadn't actually come to a conclusion on what I was thinking of calling it, but I was thinking of indicating, okay, this is last session, last time, but because it's not, I couldn't think of something nice and crisp. Like last time I mentioned it, and then I move on. I can't think of a term, and if any of you think of a really good term for that, then I will. For like, okay, one last time, or oh yeah, no, one last time. That might have worked. Anyway, after this, no more mention of the imposter. No more mention of all the people scrabbling desperately for all kinds of things. They're seeing the things. Rocklover suspects that, and I suspected when the whole transgender thing, I suspected, look, and I said, I think it was there to say, look, when flat earthers push that pus to the surface, that's stay to the surface, and the whole world is clamoring, if that was the scenario, and the whole world was clamoring, and then on the other side there was transgenders trying to be accepted. The whole point about transgenders is they should at least not be attacked like physically attacked and made to fear. It's a tragic thing, but nobody should be attacked unless you're doing something thoroughly evil. Then you should be attacked. Then you should be attacked. Wolfie6020. Okay? So I put this out. I think it was a talk with Martin Litka. I'm not sure. It was a hangout with several people. I said, I think the point was this: have Stay be the head of Flat Earth. There's a transgender that people don't know is a transgender. That way, when the Globlings come out and say, transgenders protected, LGBTQ protected, transgenders in LGBTQ, the T is for transvestites. It's not for transgenders, okay? The T is for transvestites. Now, they can't just put another T because then it starts being absurd, okay? So LGBTQ for queer, which is like, well, don't all of them fall under that? Anyway, it could just be queer, but never mind. LGBTQ P for pedo. At that point, when people actually snap out of it and go, what the you're protecting pedos? You've been laying down the foundation for giving these people extra rights that other people don't have, extra benefits, extra eligibility for things, for protection and housing and employment. And you've been giving these people extra rights. And now you've brought into these people pedophiles and you're giving them extra rights. At that point, when the world rebels against it, and by association, rebel against transgenders, at that point, Stay would come out as a transgender, and that would burst the bubble of all the Flat Earth Christians and the Flat Earth believers. It would burst their bubble. It would destroy them. And then the Flat Earth could be quashed as a cult that was headed by a transgender. And going to the Wikipedia, in 10, 15 years' time, you'd look back, Flat Earth. There was a resurgence of Flat Earth in the in 2015. This resurgence, until it was discovered that it was a cult generated by a transgender. This transgender, then That's what I thought it was going to be. And I think that's what Rock Lover suspects. Wait, what am I doing? What am I showing? Oh, sorry, I'm watching the watch page and it was playing something from the past. That's what I think. Okay. Like, really, that's what I think. That's why a transgender, they didn't have to use a transgender. They could have just used a woman agent. But why a transgender? Because there is an agenda. The agenda is this. Look, tell your children they can switch and swap, okay? Tell them, make it a law that you have to tell them at school. Now you've told them. Now you've made all of those people vulnerable and they can't breed. So Agenda 21, tick. Now, increase this and smear heterosexual people. Just smear them. Like there's something wrong with them. They just follow mainstream blindly, whatever, okay? And then have this protective umbrella over the LGBTQ and introduce P under that umbrella. You've already said the umbrella is necessary because the outside of the umbrella people, that's normal people who are heterosexual, you've already said those people are violent. They might even be Nazis. And now you're saying we're protecting the pedophiles too because they have a right to happiness. And you're going to react like Nazis. And you're going to react like Nazis against all of us. Now I'm going to play a thing the Globlings really don't like when I play this. I've played it before. And I'm going to watch the page to make sure that it doesn't get interrupted. What you're going to hear is sickening, but I'm going to play it all the way through unless I get warned to stop playing it, in which case I'll paste a link. In fact, I will paste a link and then play it. We're going to hear an academic explain to the world how pedophiles have a right to the pursuit of happiness. and how it's us that have it wrong. How it's the straight heterosexual world that has it wrong. That there's nothing actually wrong with pedophilia. That's what they're saying. By the way, Flat Earth Reset, that's the kind of thing that you can cut me saying and play around as if that's what I've actually said. And by the way, I meant it when I said, if I ever see you in the real world, you're in fucking shit. Right, so all I've written, okay, so listen, and this is at TEDx. On this, in fact, I'll show you what I've done. All I've done is I've written academic pedophilia. I was thinking academic discusses. I thought, no, just write pedophilia. That's all I've done. I've written academic pedophilia. Let's be mature about pedophilia. Madeleine van der Bruggen, TEDx. Okay, I'm going to play this. Right, I'll play past that so that it doesn't trigger anything.
World. The police had taken down this massive child pornography network.
Wait, I'm going to rewind. I don't want to miss the very start.
At some point last year, this article showed up in newspapers all over the world. The police had taken down this massive child pornography network. It was on the darknet and it had nearly 90,000 members. Lots and lots of illegal material was shared and lots of messages were sent through the network. Every day, every hour, every second. People from all over the world were logging into this network anonymously, which makes it extremely difficult for the police to track them down. Now, some of these people only had the aim of collecting child abuse and material online. Others also had the aim of abusing children themselves. Regardless, they all found this deep satisfaction in discussing their deepest fantasies and experiences with regards to child abuse online. Apparently, there's a market for this. Well, this makes me ask the question, how can we keep the world of the internet safe for our children? How can we reduce and maybe even eliminate the problem of child exploitation online? Well, that's quite a question to ask. As a psychologist, having worked directly with sex offenders previously, and now working for the Dutch National Police Child Exploitation Unit, I can simply tell you this. Unfortunately, we will never be able to eliminate every possible risk out there. However, there are definitely ways of making the world of the internet a safer place for our children. And the criminal justice system is one solution, but if we want to do more, I need the help of all of you. And in the next 15 minutes or so, I will tell you exactly what we can do and why. But first, let's go back to the base.
No. First, let's not, because that wasn't the video I was looking for. It looks like that's a video about, here it is. Pedophilia is a natural sexual orientation. So apologies for playing that video. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to share the link. So I'll share this one now. This is at TEDx too. And I haven't watched that video. And for all I know, the previous video, I haven't watched it all the way through. For all I know, that's defending too. Okay. But I'm not going to wait and see that maybe it's just talking about how to restrict internet things. Okay. So instead I'm going to play, and then we'll leave that behind and we'll play this. Now, the reason that I'm saying this is to say, look, transgenders, okay, for the transgenders, it's tragic that transgender people are transgender. They go through a heck of a lot of pain, okay? That's not a happy world. And I don't think that they should be abused. I genuinely don't. but they shouldn't be protected extra, and it shouldn't be encouraged to children because of the pain involved, you know? This is different. So whilst the LGBTQ is supposed to be all about happiness, this is about paedophilia, and the paedophiles want to be protected by the LGBTQ. Now we're going to hear somebody who's a globling, and this is why globlings detest when I show this. This person is not a flat earther. There is no flat earther who would possibly think that paedophilia is okay. But these people do. And you're going to hear it now. Let me move ahead so that the credits don't play.
Let me tell you about Jonas. Jonas is 19 years old.
Let me just tell you about this person, by the way. I'm going to show you right now. For the Wolfies of the world who don't see things clearly, even when somebody writes, without you guys, we would have looked terrible. You see how the very start of this, the person just sways? They're not harnessing mana. They're listening. This is somebody speaking for pedophiles who are speaking into its headphones. But never mind. That's just a conspiracy theory.
Let me tell you about Jonas. Jonas is 19 years old. He studies law in Munich. In his spare time, he likes to play soccer. Jonas has a secret which he thinks he cannot share with anyone, not even with his best friend or with his parents. He's just too afraid of anger, rejection, and repulsion. Jonas knows that he has to suppress his sexual drive for his entire life. And he also knows that there will never be a loving and fulfilling partnership that he can enter. Because Jonas is a pedophile. He's only attracted to female children between the ages of 6 and 12 years. But since he's aware of the consequences for the children, he has never given in to his sexual drive. What is pedophilia? And what is it not? In the ICD-10, the International Classification System for Illnesses, pedophilia is coded as the sexual preference for pre-adolescent children. It is listed under the sexual disorders. Whether the persistent occurrence of sexual thoughts and feelings for pre-adolescent children have been acted upon or not is not relevant to the diagnosis. Like every other sexual orientation, pedophilia can have different characteristics. For example, it can be heterosexual, it can be homosexual, bisexual. Some pedophiles are exclusively attracted to children. Others are not exclusively attracted to children, but they're also sexually interested in adults. But their main sexual interest lies within children. Only if this main sexual interest is given, we talk about pedophilia. The vast majority of all pedophiles are men, about 99%. Within the male population, 1 to 2% are considered to be pedophiles. This translates to about 60 million people worldwide. This is as much as the population of Italy or of South Africa. Therefore, pedophilia is not an irrelevant phenomenon we can't simply ignore. Chances every one of you knows at least one pedophile are higher than that you don't know anyone. we haven't found out yet why pedophilia occurs. There are biological, social, and psychological factors to it. It occurs unrelated to socio-economical status and unrelated to educational level. So generally speaking, anyone could be born a pedophile. It is crucial to understand the difference between pedophilia and child sexual abuse, which is illegal and must always be. Pedophilia is only the sexual preference for pre-adolescent children. The difference between child sexual abuse and pedophilia becomes very obvious when we look at scientific studies. Think about it for yourself. What do you think? What percentage of child molesters are pedophiles? Have a guess. Is it 20%, 40, 60, maybe even 80%? In fact, scientific studies indicate that only 20 to 30% of all child molesters are pedophiles. The vast majority of perpetrators are not pedophiles, but they're sexually interested in adults. Children can easily become victims of child sexual abuse because of their loyalty and because of ease of access. For example, a stepfather might abuse his stepdaughter because he feels anger or jealousy towards her mother. Not every pedophile abuses children, and not everyone who abuses children is a pedophile. Differentiating between these two groups is essential. Let me be very clear here.
No. Let me be very clear. The word abuse, which could be used like, oh, you abused my trust. The word that should be being said is rape. So every time you're hearing abuse from this woman, this is about pedophilia, not about violence. She's saying the word rape.
It's wrong, without any doubt. But a pedophile who doesn't abuse children has done nothing wrong. I want to quickly summarize where we are at the moment. According to current research, pedophilia is an unchangeable sexual orientation, just like, for example, heterosexuality. No one chooses to be a pedophile. No one can cease being one. The difference between pedophilia and other sexual orientations is that living out this sexual orientation will end in a disaster. So let's think about Jonas again. How can we help him not to cause such a disaster? How can we help him not to live out his sexual urges? How can we prevent child sexual abuse?
Rape.
In fact, scientific studies indicate that one of the strongest predictors for child sexual abuse committed by pedophiles is social isolation. People who can't tell anyone that they're pedophiles logically won't get any help. For example, they can't tell their friends that they can't go to the beach because children in swimsuits might be there as well. They can't get support for situations they might not control entirely. And they can never be completely frank with someone else. We can make a difference for Jonas. We, as a society, can be there for him. At the moment, we live in a world that already excludes pedophiles because of their preference alone. Someone who's lonely and excluded from society has little to lose and is at much higher risk to commit a crime, like, for example, child sexual abuse. We can make Jonas feel that he stays a valuable member of our society, although he's a pedophile. Right now, most of us feel discomfort when we think about this scenario. And most of us feel discomfort when we think about pedophiles. But just like pedophiles, we are not responsible for our feelings. We do not choose them, but we are responsible for our actions. And we must make a decision. It is in our responsibility to reflect and to overcome our negative feelings about pedophiles and to treat them with the same respect we treat other people with. We should accept that pedophiles are people who have not chosen their sexuality and who, unlike most of us, will never be able to live it out freely if they want to lead an upright life. We should accept that pedophilia is a sexual preference, a thought, a feeling, and not an act. We should differentiate between child sexual abuse and pedophilia. We shouldn't increase the suffering of pedophiles by excluding them, by blaming and mocking them. By doing that, we increase their isolation and we increase the chance of child sexual abuse. Only if they make themselves recognizable, because they're not afraid of punishment, of anger and rejection, can we better understand the causes of pedophilia and we can improve their treatment. We can help them accept their sexuality and help them learn to refrain from acting on their sexual urges which cause harm to children. We can encourage them never to commit child sexual abuse. We can help them refrain from entering dangerous situations they might not control entirely. And we can prescribe medication. This approach has already been successful. In the last 10 years, more than 9,500 people have received help in a prevention network called Kein Täter werden, which means don't offend in English, at university hospitals in Germany. The last survey shows that 98% have never committed child sexual abuse. Unfortunately, this program is not gonna eradicate child sexual abuse, but it is the first step in the right direction. Pedophiles who have received treatment have a better understanding of who they can turn to in order to prevent abuse before it happens. Most of you might ask themselves now, why is she telling us that? 5 years ago, I first heard about Jonas's life. Prior to that, I have never really thought about pedophilia, and I had just adapted the prevalent societal view about it without never really questioning it. I felt anger and disgust about pedophiles. My perspective has been completely changed by hearing Jonas's story, hearing about his cruel fate, and understanding the difference between child sexual abuse and pedophilia.
Rape.
As a medical student with a background in psychology, I feel it as my responsibility to help others overcome and escape wrong stigmatization and to have a positive impact on our future society.
Wrong stigmatization.
By changing our view about pedophilia as a society and by offering them support and therapy, We can help millions of people to live better lives, and we can effectively reduce child sexual abuse.
Rape.
No one is responsible for their feelings, but everyone is responsible for their actions. I thank you very much.
Now, I'm going to replay that, all of it. Somebody in the chat said, interesting take, with a slightly different slant. Okay? Well, not slightly different, pretty different slant. First of all, I'm going to play it again. First, that's not the person who wrote that saying that. Okay? She did not sit there, compose that as a speech, give it to her sister to read it so she won't forget. That's a paedophile, a dirty, abusive paedophile, reading into her ear. And she's saying it out loud. Now, you might say, how do you know that? I don't know that. But how do you know that's not the case? You don't know that that's not the case. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it again and rephrase what she's saying correctly. So pay attention. And I know that this is very unpleasant, but this is why Globelings detest this being shown, because on the globe, this is what's being done.
Let me tell you about Jonas. Jonas is 19 years old. He studies law in Munich. In his spare time, he likes to play soccer. Jonas has a secret which he thinks he cannot share with.
He helps puppies when they're in trouble, rescues lame birds. He helps old ladies cross the road. Let me paint a picture of you that evokes empathy.
Anyone, not even with his best friend or with his parents. He's just too afraid of anger, rejection, and repulsion. Jonas knows that he...
Despite not being confident enough to speak to his best friend or his parents or anyone, he spoke to us.
Has to suppress his sexual drive for his entire life. And he also knows that there will never be a loving and fulfilling partnership that he can enter.
Notice the closing of the eyes whilst it's receiving the next part. No, look, with treatment, the guy would stop being a paedophile and might have a happy life and put it all behind. But with all this paedophilia in headlines, it's all very present in people's minds. That's why it's there. That's why they're teaching children about transgender, why it's all transgender, paedophiles. You stop mentioning it, it becomes a very bizarre thing. You then hear someone's a paedophile and it's like, what the heck? But you normalize it by desensitizing people to it. And then you can do what this creature's doing.
Because Jonas is a pedophile.
Jonas wants to have sex with children.
He's only attracted to female children.
Now, this is not an adult, not a full adult. He wants to study law. Okay. He only wants to rape girls.
In the ages of 6 and 12 years.
He's not a homosexual paedophile. He's a heterosexual paedophile.
But since he's aware of the consequences for the children, he has never given in to his sexual drive.
What are those consequences? Oh, okay. Don't discuss the consequences. He knows the consequences. So he only fantasizes about it. Okay.
What is pedophilia?
It's the raping of children. But let's go on.
and what is it not? In the ICD-10, the International Classification System for Illnesses, pedophilia is coded as the sexual preference for pre-adolescent children. It is listed under the sexual disorders. Whether the persistent occurrence of sexual thoughts and feelings for pre-adolescent children have been acted upon or not is not relevant to the diagnosis. Like every other sexual orientation, pedophilia can have different characteristics. For example,
some people like to have lots of sex with lots of different partners in the heterosexual adult world with other adults. And some pedophiles want to rape lots of different children, while some pedophiles want to single out just one or two.
It can be heterosexual, it can be homosexual.
At a time, I should say.
Bisexual. Some pedophiles are exclusively attracted to children. Others are not exclusively attracted to children, but they're also sexually interested in adults. But their main sexual interest lies within children. Only if this main sexual interest is given, we talk about pedophilia. The vast majority of all pedophiles are men, about 99%.
Not true. What this woman just said is not true. But that's what they would like the world to think. Because you see, pedophiles want children. And the people who go and get the children are female pedophiles. Because it's much easier for a female pedophile to take a child away from a park than it is for a man.
Within the male population, 1 to 2% are considered to be pedophiles. This translates to about 60 million people worldwide. This is as much as the population of Italy or of South Africa. Therefore, pedophilia is not an irrelevant phenomenon we can't simply ignore. Chances every one of you knows at least one pedophile are higher than...
Let me pause that a second and address something going on in the chat. Joey Gambetta writes, oh look, Antonio has hidden all of harp music and harp will not be silenced comments because of defending Rock Lover. All respect is gone. Okay, Joey Gambetta, this is how it works here. I'm going to ask people to type X if they saw what harp was doing and thought, yeah, get this guy out. Type X. Type O if you think, no, harp should not be silent, should be in here abusing people, regardless of it being Rock Lover or anyone else. So X, if you're happy that harp fucked off because I made him, or O, if you'd rather he was here. And whatever you do, that's what I'll do, okay? I will unban him. That's how it works, Joey. He was being a dick. I told him to stop being a dick. It wasn't just being a dick to Rock Lover. He was being a dick to Emerald Rider too. Okay. Now you can go quiet now or watch the X's and O's. Type your O. Don't forget to... Now, if you don't type your O, I'm going to boot you too for being an agent provocateur. So I'm waiting for you to type your O. And then I will continue playing this. I'm waiting. Why are you not typing O? So say again. I say again. Okay. Joey's got a problem with me getting rid of harp will not be silent. Who was being a dick to several people in the chat. I told him to stop being a dick and no more warnings. He then argued with me. You haven't given me a first warning. I said, I don't give first warnings. I just told you there's no more warnings. What kind of social justice warrior talk is this? Well, then he's being a dick, Joey Gambetta, and so are you. Now, you have a wrench, but you can fuck off if you like. You can, I mean, without me banning you, you can just bugger off. Yes, I see your O. Do you see the X's? Do you see the X's? Now, do you think those people are typing X so that I'll think, oh, great, they're all supporting me? Or do you think they're saying, yeah, because there's people who haven't typed X or O, okay? Do you think they're saying, yeah, it's being a pain in the ass, that guy? I see one O, Joey Gambetta, and that's yours. Okay? Right. Now, let's carry on playing this. And like I say, Joey, if this is not your bag, go away. It's fine. I won't ban you. You can come back later if you want. But obviously now I'm going to watch you because I think your discernment isn't very sharp. Now let's carry on.
You don't know anyone. We haven't found out yet why pedophilia occurs. They are biological, social.
The pedophilia occurs only because of social reasons, not biological.
And psychological factors to it.
Now they've said, we don't know what makes it, but these things make it. Like, well, psychological, yes. Does the environment have impact on psychology? Yes. Is it environment? Yes. Okay, just environment. Is it innate? Pedophiles born pedophiles? No, of course not. Don't be stupid. Children don't have freaking sexuality.
It occurs unrelated to social economical status and unrelated to educational level.
But not unrelated to pedophile influence.
Generally speaking, anyone could be born a pedophile.
That saying, they've concluded.
It's crucial to understand.
Sorry, that saying, they've concluded that there's a biological determination there and that it's born. It said they don't know what it is, but what she just said contradicts that. Anyone could be born a pedophile. No.
Understand the difference between pedophilia and child sexual abuse, which is illegal and must always be. Pedophilia is only the sexual preference for.
Now, she just said pedophilia is illegal, child sexual rape is illegal. I'm going to replay it.
Pedophilia is only the sexual preference for pre-adolescent children. The difference between child sexual abuse and pedophilia becomes very obvious when we look at scientific studies. Think about it for yourself. What do you think?
Wait, sorry, I think I moved ahead.
It is crucial to understand the difference between pedophilia and child sexual abuse, which is illegal and must always be.
You see, which is illegal and must always be. It being illegal is part of the appeal that pedophiles have towards children. The fact that it's frowned upon by society. That's part of what makes it appealing to them. So saying, so it should always remain illegal is like, so we should always keep pandering or feeding that little bit of intrigue in the mind of the pedophile. But most people don't understand that, and she knows most people don't understand that. They don't get that. They don't know what that means. They don't get it. So she's saying we should carry on having that little bit of kinkiness there in the world, in the legal world. But we could socially allow people to have sex with children. And then if they're having sex with children and it's illegal, at least they still get that little kick out of it being illegal. Plus, she knows with a doublespeak that people would be thinking, up to now, I've been a bit concerned about what you're doing with this, but you just said that it should remain illegal. All right, I get it. I was confused. I thought you were trying to say that it should be considered all right. No, no. Okay, I get it. I'm with you on that. I do think it should remain illegal. Not knowing, it's like, okay, you're not understanding. It's not that it's unlawful. It's that it's illegal that's appealing to the paedophile.
Pedophilia is only the sexual preference for pre-adolescent children. The difference between child sexual abuse and pedophilia becomes...
The difference between child rape and pedophilia?
Very obvious when we look at scientific studies.
One is raping children and the other one is fantasizing about raping children.
Think about it for yourself. What do you think? What percentage of child molesters are pedophiles?
What percentage of child molesters are pedophiles? 100% of them.
Have a guess. Is it 20%, 40, 60, maybe even 80%?
Maybe even 100%? What percentage of black Africans are black?
In fact, scientific studies indicate that only 20 to 30% of all child molesters are pedophiles.
Did you hear that? Scientific studies. Really? Can we have a look at the experiments that were conducted to see whether or not this was true? Can we see the experiments that were conducted that said 80% of child molesters, that's adults who molest children, 80% are not pedophiles? That's an interesting way of seeing it. What's the percentage of rapists that are not rapists? But she said scientific studies, and she left a nice big pause.
The vast majority of perpetrators are not pedophiles, but they're sexually interested in adults. Children.
Having already defined that some pedophiles are interested in children and adults, is now saying they're interested in adults. They rape children too, but they're not pedophiles. Don't mistake that.
Can easily become victims of child sexual abuse because of their loyalty and because of ease of access. For example, a stepfather might abuse a stepdaughter because he feels anger or jealousy towards her mother.
Wow.
Not every pedophile abuses children, and not everyone who abuses children is a pedophile.
Not everyone who rapes children is a child rapist. You see, that's what pedophile, in the way that we understand pedophilia, if people have fantasies about having sex with dogs, let them, have the rest of their life having fantasies about having sex with dogs. As long as they don't go around having sex with dogs. With pedophiles, if people are going around having fantasies of having sex with children, that's very messed up. But as long as they don't actually rape children, that's a very different story. But what this person is saying is, the majority of the people who rape children, i.e. pedophiles, are not pedophiles. Listen to the doublespeak. I'm going to replay it. The majority of the people, watch.
Ease of access. For example, a stepfather might abuse a stepdaughter because he feels anger or jealousy towards her mother.
No. A Step-parents might abuse their stepchild because they're a paedophile.
Not every pedophile abuses children.
That's a point of contention. If you're saying mental fantasy equals pedophilia, or if you're saying raping children equals pedophilia.
And not everyone who abuses children is a pedophile.
She's using the word abuse instead of the word rape. If she said not everyone who rapes children are child rapists, people would see through it. But that's what it's saying.
Differentiating between these two groups is essential.
Essential? Which two groups? Child rapists and people who rape children that are not child rapists? Or people who fantasize about raping children versus people who actually rape children?
Let me be very clear here.
Watch how, because I haven't really paid attention, I've been looking at the chat. Watch how she's very likely to not be very clear now. Having just said, let me be very clear, which, by the way, is not natural way for women to speak. It's a natural way for men to speak.
Abusing children is wrong without any doubt. But a pedophile who doesn't abuse children has done nothing wrong.
Then it's not a pedophile.
I want to quickly summarize where we are at the moment. According to current research, pedophilia is an unchangeable sexual orientation, just like, for example,
being gay and being transgender. Although those things were treated in the past successfully. But no, now being gay is untreatable, being transgender is untreatable, and being pedophile is also untreatable.
Heterosexuality. No one chooses to be a pedophile. No one can cease being one. The difference between pedophilia and other sexual orientations is that living out this sexual orientation will end in a disaster.
Not for the vast majority of pedophiles. It does not end in a disaster. Thanks to people like this who work behind the scenes in the law world. I'll show an article about what Justin Trudeau has just passed in Canada. It will shock you if you don't already know.
So let's think about Jonas again. How can we help him not to cause such a disaster?
Remember, the vast majority of pedophiles don't suffer the disasters that this person is saying. But remember that how she described this with these tones. This guy who helps puppies and old ladies across the road and once helped a little bird which had a broken wing, and it looked after it for weeks and weeks, and then the bird died and it was heartbroken. But it's a pedophile. Now, watch. Remember the boy I described? And this is when it's being very clear.
How can we help him not to live out his sexual urges?
You can't say, now let me be very clear, and follow it with a question where various different people are going to take that question in lots of different directions. That's not very clear. How can we help him live? Let's rewind.
Help him not to cause such a disaster. How can we help him not to live out his sexual urges? How can we prevent child sexual abuse? In fact, scientific studies indicate that one of the strongest predictors for child sexual abuse committed by pedophiles is social isolation.
One of the largest predictors? Let's listen again. Scientific studies show or indicate
that one of the strongest predictors for child sexual abuse committed by pedophiles is social isolation. People who can't tell anyone that they're pedophiles logically won't get any help. For example, they can't tell their friends that they can't go to the beach because children in swimsuits might be there as well. They can't get support for situations they might not control entirely. And they can never be completely frank with someone else. We can make a difference for Jonas. We, as a society, can be there for him. At the moment, we live in a world that already excludes pedophiles because of their preference alone.
No, we live in a world where within the ruling elites, pedophilia is rife. But part of the reason it's rife is that it's risque. So we must maintain the risque element and pander to your people, saying, we're trying to fix the problem of pedophilia. And the problem with pedophilia is, you're the problem. You, audience, you're the reason there's pedophiles, because the pedophiles can't come and talk to you about it. And because they can't come and talk to you about it, they go and rape children. It's your fault that pedophiles are pedophiles.
Someone who's lonely and excluded from society has little to lose and is at much higher risk to commit a crime, like, for example, child sexual abuse.
Notice how it hasn't said child rape. Why would it not say child rape?
We can make Jonas feel that he stays a valuable member of our society.
No, if you have fantasies about children, even if you don't act on them, you're not a valuable member of society. Here's why. So you only have fantasies of raping children. You don't want to rape children and you're not going to rape children. But going into law, you might want to make it maybe a bit more legal, or a bit more accessible for people to have videos of children being raped so that you can watch them and they can flesh out your fantasies. That's not a valuable member of society.
Oh, he's a pedophile. Right.
Sarah Smith, let me read your comment. He ranted about Wolfie. Did I? Did I? He ranted about Wolfie and then said the Globe support paedophilia and gave this as evidence. This evidence supports paedophilia. This is evidence. I don't know how you're watching this, but this supports paedophilia. Okay. And this is globe scientists. They're not flat earth scientists. They're not realists. They're fantasists who think they're on a spinning globe. Did you hear, Sarah Smith? The scientist that this person is quoting saying, pedophiles are born pedophiles. We don't know how they become pedophiles, but they're born pedophiles. Sarah Smith. These are globelings saying this. Justin Trudeau is a globling. So watch this space whilst you retain your wrench. Okay, I will show you what's just passed, what law has just passed in Canada, Sarah Smith.
Oh, most of us feel discomfort when we think about this scenario. And most of us feel discomfort when we think about pedophiles. But just like pedophiles, we are not responsible for our feelings. We do not choose them.
Wait a second. We are not responsible for our feelings. Pedophiles are not responsible for their feelings. Pedophiles' victims are not responsible for their feelings. Nobody's responsible for any feelings. Is that how it goes? Let's just lump in. Let's just put everything hodgepodge. Or is it the case that children that are raped have suffering put to them by pedophiles, Sarah Smith. Are you hearing? So, Sarah Smith, at the beginning of me streaming this video, I said, Globlings detest this video because it shows what your globe is made of. Now you're saying, thank you for confirming you were using this video to link pedophilia to the globe. Some in the chat said you were not doing that. Sarah Smith, I am, and whoever was saying it in the chat, I am absolutely linking this to the globe. These are globe scientists who are saying there's nothing wrong with pedophilia, but let's maintain its illegal status. Are you hearing that, Sarah Smith?
But we're responsible for our actions. And we must...
We're responsible for our actions. And also we can choose our feelings. We really can. Shall we see at what point we choose our feelings? Let's see, last time there was a discussion between you and your friends about what movie to watch at the cinema. You decided on what type of movie to watch based on the feelings that you wanted. Did you choose those feelings? Yes. So let's carry on.
The decision. It is in our responsibility to reflect and to overcome our negative feelings about pedophiles.
That's the whole point of this talk. It's our responsibility. She's a globe scientist. She's definitely not a flat earth scientist, Sarah Smith. The whole point of this has just been said. Okay? So 90% lies, 10% truth. Listen carefully, Sarah. She's talking to you.
It is in our responsibility to reflect and to overcome our negative feelings about pedophiles and to treat them with the same respect we treat other people with.
Sarah Smith, it's your responsibility to change your negative feelings towards pedophilia, and so treating pedophiles with the respect you treat non-pedophiles. Sarah, look, Sarah, I am going to take your wrench because you're doing a little bit of distracting there. Listen, Sarah, I'm going to play it again. And then I'm going to ask you to type out loud, like type in writing, and I say out loud so that other people can see, type what she's going to say. I'm going to replay it.
About pedophiles and to treat them. And we must make a decision.
Listen carefully and type out the words she's saying. Listen.
Our responsibility to reflect and to overcome our negative feelings about pedophiles.
So type that out. And then I will play the next part for you to actually type out. Yes, Sarah Smith writes, do you think, Link, one academic's view of pedophilia with your Look, the academic has mentioned scientists several times. Okay, she's not referring to herself. That would be not one academic, understand? Now, do you think, Link, one academic's views on pedophilia with your anti-globe Earth argument gives you credibility? Yes, I do. Now, have you seen Wolfie criticizing this, Sarah Smith? Have you seen Wolfie playing this video and making a commentary on this video? You haven't. Now, I'm going to wait for you to type out what she just said. Just to remind you, I'm going to replay it. Give me a second.
It is in our responsibility to reflect and to overcome our negative feelings about pedophiles.
So write that out, Sarah Smith. I'm waiting. Tell you what, I will screen share so you can see the comments. Sarah Smith, type out what she just said. Sarah Smith, type out what she just said. The Supreme Architect, if nobody from academic society, or if the academic society will not respond to this video, then they agree with it by not doing anything about that. So yes, it is agreeing by not acting. It's in the law. That's right. Sarah Smith, I asked you to type out. I don't know how much lag you're having, but I'm asking you to type out what she said. You're writing, Antonio, you ruin your reputation further with this abject nonsense. Why are you not typing out what that woman is saying? Because she's saying it to you. She's talking to you. Write it out. Oh yeah, don't worry, it's not going to stay here much longer. Antonio believes everybody agrees with it by default and is using it against Wolfie. Sarah Smith, okay, that's how, look, this is how what it looks like when you remove a moderator. And this is what it looks like when you hide user on this channel so nobody can see any more of your comments. Now let's continue.
To treat them with the same respect we treat other people with. We should accept that pedophiles are people.
It did. You see, you run this risk, Sarah Smith. Okay, somebody here is saying, Emma Ryder at Sarah Smith, are you fucking pedo gatekeeper for fuck's sake? Because it looks like you're trying to redirect from what's being said to me and Wolfie. That's what you're trying to do. As if you're trying to make people not pay attention to what's being said. I have played it all the way through. If you've just jumped in now, played it all the way through, and I'm now playing it again all the way through. So Sarah Smith, your attempt to distract hasn't really worked because I already played it through all the way, and I'm going to continue with the commentary. But thanks for supporting pedophilia by not acting against it, because that's how the law goes. You know, your local council, your town hall, they will put a notice saying, we're going to install this unless you complain and tell us no. If you don't complain, they come and install this. That's how it goes. That's how the law works, you know.
Have not chosen their sexuality and who, unlike most of us, will never be able to live it out freely if they want to lead an upright life.
If they want to live an upright life. Okay.
Should accept that pedophilia is a sexual preference, a thought, a feeling, and not an act.
So when people are raping children, that's not pedophilia. No. The pedophilia is what's going on in the heads of people who are not raping children. Listen again, Sarah Smith.
We should accept that pedophilia is a sexual preference, a thought, a feeling, and not an act.
Did you hear that? I know it's difficult for you to swallow, but this is what your globe is doing. And in the real world, there are people who are snapping out of the globe fantasy and are seeing this, and are seeing this being pushed on the Globe Fantasy, and are saying, hey, you know that paedophilia is being pushed on your Globe Fantasy? And you know that if you realize that the Globe was just a fantasy, just like Father Christmas, okay, it's a non-true belief, it's a belief in something that's false, you might realize what's being done.
We should differentiate between child sexual abuse and pedophilia.
We should differentiate between child rape and pedophilia.
We shouldn't increase the suffering of pedophiles.
We shouldn't increase the suffering of pedophiles. Not, we should diminish the suffering of children. We should not increase the suffering of pedophiles.
Excluding them by blaming and mocking them. By doing that, we increase their isolation and we increase the chance of child sexual abuse.
You see, it really is your fault. If you don't like pedophiles, they're pedophiles raping children because you don't like them. You made them feel isolated, so they went out and raped children because you didn't invite them to your party.
Only if they make themselves recognizable, because they're not afraid of punishment, of anger and rejection, can we better understand the causes of pedophilia, and we can improve their treatment. We can help them accept their sexuality and help them learn to refrain from acting on their sexual urges, which cause harm.
Now this, help them to refrain from acting on their urges, which harms children. If this person doesn't pepper the talk with things like this, it would get stoned. It might risk getting stoned to death, but it has to. See, the bits that we're programming into you, that it's your fault that pedophiles rape children, you should accept pedophiles. That's what you should do. Because if you accept pedophiles, then we can study them and have them not rape children. See, it is your responsibility to accept pedophiles so that pedophiles can have a happy life.
To children, we can encourage them never to commit child sexual abuse.
The law already does that. That's why they become isolated.
We can help them refrain from entering dangerous situations they might not control entirely.
Look, life is a whole series of entering into situations you might not control entirely.
And we can prescribe medication.
Big Pharma wants to prescribe medication. That's right. Is it going to work? Don't know.
This approach has already been successful.
Then why not use this approach all over the place and not have this talk? Just do it on the quiet so the children don't come across the word pedophile. You know, why not do that? Off the radar.
In the last 10 years, more than 9,500 people have received help in a prevention network called Kein Täter werden, which means don't offend in English, at university hospitals in Germany.
University hospitals who have said, hey, enrollees, tick here if you would like absolutely confidential talks of you being a pedophile. I mean, apart from the guys who are going to process your forms, you know. So just write X here if you would like us, and we will discreetly contact you. We have a treatment. We might be able to help you.
The last survey shows that 98% have never committed child sexual abuse. Unfortunately, this program is not gonna eradicate child sexual abuse.
Child rape.
But it is the first step in the right direction.
No. There's a different way of going about it, but it doesn't have to do with pandering.
Pedophiles who have received treatment have a better understanding of who they can turn to in order to prevent abuse before it happens.
Before they can prevent raping, before the raping happens.
Most of you might ask themselves now, why is she telling us that? 5 years ago, I first heard about Jonas's life.
Not true. That's a made-up story.
Prior to that, I have never really thought about pedophilia, and I had just adapted the...
Before 5 years, so 5 years earlier, she had never thought about pedophilia. Well, she must have lived on another planet.
Prevalent societal view about it without never really questioning it.
Didn't know how society felt about it, and I hadn't really questioned it.
I felt anger and disgust about pedophiles.
I thought that she said she never thought about it. So how can she feel anger and disgust about pedophiles if she's never really thought about it?
Perspective has been completely changed by hearing Jonas's story, hearing about his cruel fate, and understanding the difference between child sexual abuse and pedophilia.
Between child rape and pedophilia.
As a medical student with a background in psychology, I feel it as my responsibility to help others overcome and escape wrong stigmatization.
Wrong stigmatization. That's to say, there is a right stigmatization. Oh, is there?
To have a positive impact on our future society. By changing our view about pedophilia as a society, and by offering them support and therapy,
So what this woman is doing is saying we should change our view about pedophilia. We shouldn't think that child rapists are child rapists. We shouldn't think that. We should think pedophiles are just lonely people who struggle with their inner world and their fantasies. That's all that pedophiles are. We've already said 80% of child rapists are not child rapists. Sorry, not pedophiles. It's very important that we don't describe child. Okay, here it is in a crux. Pedophile is being redefined. It is no longer a child rapist. It is now something else. Well, what's a child rapist then?
Help millions of people to live better lives. And we can effectively reduce child sexual abuse.
Not true. We can effectively reduce child rape. No, not by the tack that this woman is taking.
No one is responsible for their feelings.
That's just not true. No one is responsible for their feelings. Yes, they are. I'm responsible for my feelings. Right now, I'm kind of serious and bordering, I'm seething with anger. But after this, I will change my feelings. And everybody can change their feelings. We are all responsible for our feelings. And so, let me replay it.
Abuse. No one is responsible for their feelings.
No one is responsible for their feelings. No. Other people are responsible for their feelings. You see, the social justice warriors, they depend on their feelings being the result of other people, including the result of other people's thoughts about them.
but everyone is responsible for their actions.
Thinking, which brings on feelings, and assessing feelings and deciding whether or not to remain in the same frame of mind or change, is action. It's not all, you know, tap dancing and jazz hands.
I thank you very much.
So that's what the globe, in the globe, that's what's happening. Now I'm going to change my mood. I'm raising my arms up, I'm stretching. Oof, I'm shaking my head, shaking my hands out, and we're going to watch this video from Emerald Rider.
Hey, what's up, YouTube?
Well, good, man.
It's 7 p.m. here, and the sun's in full view, and so is the moon. But as you can see, the shadow on the moon is not caused by the Earth, because the sun is behind.
No, it's a mistake to think that the shadow on the moon is caused by the Earth. In the globe model, that's not what causes the moon's shadow.
And in no way, shape, or form is causing a fucking shadow on the moon. The moon seems to be transparent, translucent. You can see the sky right through it. You know? Why isn't that moon full?
Now, the globelings say that what's happening is the light from the moon is coming through the atmosphere, and that's why it looks translucent. It's like, really? So then why are the white bits looking white? Why aren't the white bits looking blue?
The sun do a 360 here, what NASA can't do. The sun's right here, folks. The sun is pointing directly at the moon. So you globies, explain to me why that isn't a full moon. You can see right through it. The dark spots on the moon are the same color as the blue sky.
I'm going to move ahead.
Wake up, people. The moon is...
Okay. Enough. Sorry, man, because I want to show something. Let me stop screen sharing. Stop. I'm going to paste a link to it. Oh, you've pasted a link. I'm going to paste another link in case people want to watch it in the chat. And you might have been going to what I'm going to go to now. I don't know, but let's see. There's the video, the link to the video that I was just showing. Now, I may stop. Yes, I have. I think I can close this. This is geometrically impossible on the globe, but this is what we have. Like, can you see? This has been illuminating. I'll show you where. If it was a sphere and it was being illuminated by a source of light, this shadow would come, well, from light that's coming that way. But if the sun is here, well, it can't. And globalians think, oh no, what it is, so I'm going to do another drawing. What it is sphere. It's a sphere and our orientation. So I'm going to do a sphere. Okay, and I'm going to show a horizon, because what the globalians never do is include a horizon into their sphere. So I'm going to place the moon illuminated. I'm going to indicate a horizon. We're going to look from the north. There's the north. We're going to have a horizon line, because anywhere on Earth, on the spherical Earth, has a horizon line. Right. I'm going to place the moon, and I'm not going to keep it to scale, obviously. Here. And this is what's being seen from the Earth, from the point of view of the person that has the horizon to one side. So Emerald Rider, in this case. I'm going to draw a square box to show what Emerald Rider is seeing, which is from the point of view that I've just drawn, which is the moon that you just saw. And the sun is in that direction. This is the globe situation. This is the illumination of the moon for the person who's on the Earth, which is saying the illumination is coming from, well, like in the other drawing, that way. Geometrically speaking, it's absolutely impossible. For this, here's the horizon. You see, I've placed him around the equator, just so we see. There's the north. He's around the equator and he's seeing this, because they do see this at the equator. The sunlight is coming from that direction. But apparently, the sphere moon is being illuminated from there. And geometrically, it's impossible with the globe Earth. Literally impossible. It's not doable. So you will never see a GlobeLink model it physically from a globe with a camera, because you can. I've got globes, and I bought tiny little cameras so that I could do this. Make a hole, place a camera inside, filming out, and have, well, the moon illuminated like that. Which, you know, in other words, for the moon to be illuminated like that, I'm going to have to place a light coming like this, and then we're going to have to pretend that the sunlight is actually coming from that direction. It's literally impossible to do. But thanks for that. Please, though, don't think that the shadow on the moon is coming from the Earth. I have a GlobeLink whose wife told him that the moon was being eclipsed, and he contacted me to say, have you heard about the moon eclipse? And I looked and was like, no eclipse. And it was because his wife had told him that the part of the moon that was in shadow was receiving shadow from the light obstructing the sun. Sorry, the Earth obstructing the sun. Anyway, John C. Oddity, 5:15 a.m. here. Yes, way past sleep time. I'm going to be going to bed soon. Some globulins have claimed the shadows are caused by the sun in Earth's shadow. Yes, I know that is wrong. What I was showing is that shadow has nothing to do with the sun, basically. Oh, right, dude. So I'm going to play it some more. You're showing that you were showing the same thing. Yes, I thought so. I was hoping so, at least. Right, where is it? Oh, I have something else to play. I will play it. No, Emerald Rider. I get you. I won't play it, but people can see it. Have a look at Rainbow on the Moon. Oof. You think it's a camera glitch? I will look later, Harry Bird, if you don't mind. My brain is getting kind of foggy. And although the diagram looks correct, how do you explain? Wait, where is that? Although the diagram looks correct, how do you explain when you hold the brilliant ball up, it has the exact same shadow as the moon, although the ball is entirely visible and not the moon. So you can't see a part of the shadow. I've seen this. In fact, Rory did videos of this. The shadow falls exactly on a ball as it does on the moon, and the sun is there. So sun is there, but you see, there's geometrically speaking, there's a great distance between the moon's relationship to the sun and the ball on Earth's relationship to the sun. You see, what's happening is this. Here's the horizon, and here's a ball on a stick that's presenting this shadow. And there's the moon in the sky that's presenting the same shadow. Okay? This. Okay? Give or take. They're both supposed to be the same shadow. I'll tell you what, I'll do it a bit more. Give or take, like so. Okay? Except what's going on geometrically, according to the globe, is Earth with tiny little stick with a ball, and very far away, the moon. So here's Earth. I'm just going to put an X where the ball is. You can't eliminate the two things from the same source with the distance between them. They're 240,000 miles. Not doable. But yeah, the moon is a fascinating thing. Oh, wait. People are saying that you can. Right, let me have a look at the video. Just a quick look. Harry Baird. Thank you for sharing, by the way. And thank you to you too, Emma Ryder. Wow. Okay, I'm going to share this. Sorry, just a second. Look at the raggediness of the moon. I've never seen a moon that raggedy. Look, this, the heck. Here's the Terminator on the moon, it's just here. Let me just go back. I don't know if you zoom in again. Oh, yeah, you do. Okay. This here, that looks very wrong. If this is a sphere, this region should, I mean, first, the Terminator should be a little bit more diffused. So the light should become increasingly diffused towards the end of the Terminator and brighter towards the hot spot. But what the heck is this? How's the light reaching this? This here? Given that all of this should be more diffused already, how is the light, considering there's no refraction on the moon, reaching here? I mean, that would be many times the height of Everest. Okay, Harry Baird. That's a bit of an abrupt ending. Well, thanks for that. And I was going to say to Emma Ryder, please don't think that that was me saying Harry Baird's videos are better than yours. But I'm a bit fatigued, and your video had a lot of, as the camera is zooming, it had a lot of diffusion, and I'm thinking, oh no, too heavy. Okay, now there's a video, 16 minutes, Google censorship with InfoWars, Owens Schroyer, and Ireland's Gamma of Doherty. No, wait, sorry. What I'm going to do is what I was going to show. Justin Trudeau. 1 second. Liga. Let me see. Just give me a second. Does anybody know the number of the bill passed by Trudeau, which is making is changing the punishment for serious crimes? Right, let me see.
Justin Trudeau and his Liberal government are about to change our criminal justice system again. And this one you're not going to believe.
Yeah, I think this is the one. Actually, I haven't seen that video, but I think that's talking about Bill C75. Yeah, I thought it was. Thank you, Angel Fire. Right. I meant to play this immediately after the pedophile apologist, who, on the guise of trying to resolve the whole thing, is saying it's your responsibility that people are pedophiles because you isolate them. It's your no, sorry, not pedophiles. That they go from pedophiles to child rapists. Right, here you go.
No one has ever accused Justin Trudeau of being tough on criminals, and this next move shows how soft on crime he really is. In fact, it's starting to look like Justin Trudeau doesn't even believe in penalties for serious crimes. The Liberals have introduced Bill C75, which will bring sweeping changes to our justice system and reduce the penalties for serious crimes. This is what it's going to do. Let's say your neighbor next door is convicted of participating in a terrorist organization. Well, straight to jail, you would think, right? Not so fast. Under Justin's new proposals, he will allow a judge to consider a sentence of a summary conviction instead of an indictable offense. So what's the difference? A summary conviction could mean something as simple as a fine. A simple fine for participating in a terrorist organization? Are you kidding me? Or let's say that your neighbor down the street is convicted of abducting a 13-year-old girl. Well, that's simple, straight.
Wait, it's 14 and under. So he just said a 13-year-old girl, sorry. It could be a 5-year-old girl or boy, or a 4-year-old, or a 7-year-old. Anything under 14. Somebody down the street kidnaps a child under the age of 14, not necessarily a 13-year-old.
Jail once he's convicted. not under Justin's proposal. He's considering giving the judge the option of issuing a simple fine. A fine for abducting a 13-year-old girl, and then the offender is straight back out on the street?
For abducting a child.
Let's say someone else in your neighborhood is convicted of benefiting from human trafficking. No choice, right? Straight to jail. I think we can all agree on that. Well, we can all agree, except the Prime Minister of Canada. He says, let's give judges the ability to impose a fine for people like that. Maybe he's thinking, let's get that human trafficker back out on the street because I'm sure that fine has taught him a lesson. Folks, Justin Trudeau is not only an incompetent Prime Minister, he's a Prime Minister whose moral compass points Canada in a very dangerous direction. Conservatives believe that Canadians should feel safe raising their families, safe walking down the streets of their neighborhood, safe knowing that the justice system is there to protect them, knowing that the justice system is doing what it was designed to do. The three examples that I've pointed out to in Bill C-75 are just a small sample of the changes that are coming, and they're coming this fall. In the description below, I've included a larger list of dangerous offenses which a judge will have discretion as to issuing a summary offense as opposed to an indictable offense. And again, a summary offense is something, could be something as simple as a fine. And so what can you do to stop Bill C-75? Very simple. You can write a letter or send an email to Justin Trudeau and his Liberal MPs. Tell them just how disappointed you are in these proposed changes and let them know that you want legislation that will keep our communities and your neighborhood safe. This has been Ted Falk, your
Great. Now, there will be people out there going, well, they're not going to pay attention to a letter, so I won't bother writing it. Say, oh, okay, so you literally will do nothing. You could say, the last thing I'm going to do is nothing. So I'm going to write a letter and send it, and then I'm going to think about other things, but I'm absolutely not going to do nothing. Right, so here's the list. Apologies. Under Justin Trudeau's new law, offences that would be eligible for more lenient sentences include, but are not limited to, participating in activity of a terrorist group, leaving Canada to participate in activity of terrorists group, advocating or promoting commission of terrorism offences, participating in activities of a criminal organisation, impaired driving offences causing bodily harm, possession of property obtained by crime, obstructing or violence to or arrest of officiating clergymen, arson for fraudulent purpose, prison breach, profiting from human trafficking, forced marriage, abductions of person under the age of 14, child killing, infanticide, and concealing the body of a child. That would be the corpse of a child. All of these, instead of jail, instead of only jail or possibly secure psychiatric hospital, so jail or both, removal from society. Instead of that being the only option, removal from society, they're proposing instead the possibility of the judge issuing a fine. Like literally issuing a fine for killing a child. And, or not killing the child, but hiding the body. Now, human trafficking, very profitable. How much is the fine? Let's say £500,000. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, but we're making £10 million. Oh, that's all right then. It's ridiculous. This society, the Western world is teetering on the edge of a cliff. Absolutely disgusting. Oh, flat forest, you can have a wrench. On the good side, though, what's the name of the guy with the island that ran the Lolita Express? Epstein, Jewish. Epstein, and I say Jewish like that because a few days ago I said, look at this evil Jew, and it was Isaac Cappy, who was obviously not an evil Jew and who obviously did not do nothing knowing about pedophilia in Hollywood. He's one of the ones who did not do nothing. So Isaac Cappy, Jew, not evil. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Jew, evil. It looks like the Jew part has no relevance in the evil or not evil thing. It's a bit like with the Christian thing. It's almost like the I'm not going to go into the whole religion thing, but you get me. Yeah. When are the elections happening? Because what I think is going to happen is a far-right government is going to be voted in Canada, unless they've made a law that no far-right governments are allowed, or far-right parties. And if they do, if they make a law that no far-right parties, then they'll just say any right is far-right. Emerald Rider, if you think that's disgusting, watch this. Dagnabbit. That's the kind of thing I can't not look at. Mossad, I think. Flat Forest. Don't know. And for people who think that that I'm always supporting Israel. No, I'm not watching that. You've pasted the link. I'm actually not going to watch that. Emerald Rider. Thank you for the link, though, because I'm about to go to bed and I want to start thinking better, more positively. See, because you can control your feelings. You can control your emotions. You are responsible for your emotions. November elections in Canada. Excellent, Sasha. I hope somebody sensible goes in. So I was going to say, for people who think that I'm an apologist for Jews or for Israel, it's like, no, I just point things out that happen to be true. The majority of Israelis are not rich people. The majority of Israelis who are Jewish, so not all Israelis are Jewish, but the majority of the Israelis who are Jewish are not rich. They get hammered by the government through taxes and through water. Savannah and moi. Okay, you're going to have a wrench. Although I have had run-ins with awake souls, but never mind. Good luck to him. Antonio Jubirats, Greg T. That's right. Oh wait, no, that's not right. Yeah. So when people hear me criticizing Christianity, and they don't pay attention to when I criticize the Old Testament. If you criticize the Old Testament, you're criticizing Judaism. That's what you're criticizing. In fact, you're criticizing Judaism and Christianity because, obviously Old Testament in the Bible. But the Old Testament is the Torah of the Jews. And then they have the Talmud, separate thing altogether. That cartoon I played yesterday of the natives, of the savages, and the Catholics arriving, that was just brilliant because that shows the absurdities. Like, yeah, we know all about all the, pray to God and everything. What the heck is this Pope stuff and this Catholicism thing? Where's that in the Bible? And it isn't. I was forever sent out of religious education class for saying things like, where's that in the Bible? Where's that in the Bible? In the Bible, do they have the marriage things? Do they have the dust to dust, ashes to ashes of burials? Do they have that in the Bible? Because the priest stands with a Bible open saying, dust to dust, ashes to ashes, and whatever else he says. Is that in the Bible? It isn't. It's not in the Bible, by the way. You should say this. No, there's only one prayer in the Christian Bible, and that's the Our Father. The Hail Mary isn't in there. So, yeah, so King Bonza, right, it's almost like a social experiment to see how far they can push the dumbed down Western masses before they get a reaction. It really is. I mean, it could be many things as well as that, but that's definitely a thing that it is. It's not like they haven't considered that. That's that. Whether that's a prime directive, let's see how far we can push before they push back. Or if it's, let's do all these things and we'll be pushing and we'll see whether or not they push back. I don't know. I don't know. But it's absolutely, definitely that. And the surreptitious creeping of a different religion, Islam. The surreptitious creep, the mission creep of Islam into Western cultures. It's like, ooh, please listen to the former Muslim people born and brought up in Iraq or Syria, and you might think they're all propagandists. Like, no, they're pointing things out in the Quran, including how you can have a wife that's a 3-year-old girl or 4. Literally. I looked at I have a Quran, you know, because it's good to be able to check things. I have a Quran. It actually says that if your wife doesn't please you, you can choose one of the 3 or 4. I forget what verse it's in. Very, very messed up things. Angel Fire. Quebec voted in as their government a brand new party that didn't exist last election. Doesn't surprise me, Angel Fire. It really doesn't surprise me. Orphan Red writes, yes, the ex-Muslims should be listened to more closely. Absolutely they should. Jones the Oddity, I mean, there is Jewish Christians. There isn't. But and Trump loves Saudi evil. I don't know what Trump loves. Provincially, yes. Yeah, but eventually these things grow, don't they, Angel Fire? The Spanish government is in chaos right now. Just absolute chaos. The Spanish government, I mean, I tried to find out what's going on because I have family. I'm from Catalonia. I tried to find out what's going on in Spain and Catalonia. I can't get it straight. No, it's like I can't. It's so messed up that people aren't really sure what's going on. Who is it that's actually prime minister right now in Spain? Who is the actual prime minister? Hitchens says a lot of Quran. The Supreme Architect. Peter Hitchens or Christopher Hitchens? Peter Hitchens. Sorry, no. Christopher Hitchens. I thought he was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yeah. So a while ago, I made a hangout called Jesus Found Me. And it's saying, look, if you actually look at the values that underpin the religion, Christianity is way better than Islam. The underpinnings of the religion. We're not talking the fundamental truths and all of that gibberish, which is all a crock of shit and all comes from deeply embedded experiences that our species have had in this world. Our DNA has memory. So that's the actual underpin, the real truth. On top of that, you have the various different, oh, God is called Allah. No, it's called Yahweh. Or no, it's called Jehovah. And all of those things. At the underpinnings of Christianity, Christianity's underpinnings are much, much better. I'm not talking about its history. I'm not a Christian. I don't think it's all wonderful. I don't pretend there haven't been absolute horrendous atrocities and probably the highest amounts of evil done through Christianity. But Islam is not a good idea. Mark of Melbourne, I just did a video on the globe from Kabbalah. Oh, well, I'm gonna go to your channel and I will have a look at it later. Basically, the Western world has been taken over. End of story. Yes, it has. That's one of the flaws of Christianity. Christopher Hitchens, thank you. That is one of the flaws of Christianity, the tolerance. They say, no, we'll be fine. Like, you won't when there's none of you left. You won't. Do you know, if I could, I would move to Russia. I would move to Russia, like southern Russia. I would. That's where I would move. I'd move to southern Russia, because northern Russia is a bit cold. That's what I would do. Just move to southern Russia. And if you guys can move to southern Russia. And then navigate your way through the corruption there. That's right. So Emerald Rider, that's why they're placing hundreds of thousands of Muslims all over the world. Not in China though, because Muslims are obedient slaves. Absolutely. So in China, however, and China, there's lots of things I admire about China and lots of things I think this is so profoundly wrong that I can't. How? China is purging its Muslims. That's what China's doing, not by killing them, by re-educating them, separating them from the children and imprisoning them, sending the children to special re-education camps and the Muslim adults into prisons in re-education camps. That's what they're doing. You will not think that Allah is greater than the Chinese state. The hell are you nuts? This is China, for God's sake. Yeah, that's what they're doing in China. So in China, the Muslim thing isn't going on. It's in the West. It's in the tolerant West. That's where. Not Russia, though. Russia is like, yeah, you can be Muslim in Russia. That's okay. You can't propagandize. And you try terrorism, you see what happens. Either you're Russian or you're European. Yes. I lost China in the divorce. Okay, guys, getting nuts. Yeah. Oof. But here's the thing, okay? You know, things always look darkest before the dawn. That's a saying. Like, if out of what's going on, people realize that they can act, that they don't need the television news saying, go and act, go and vote. Like, oh, okay, I'll go. No, when people realize that they can have a thought and go, I don't think that's right. And instead of going, I don't think that's right. Oh, puppies. Instead go, I don't think that's right. How could I do something that would indicate to the universe that I don't think that's right, in case the universe is listening, Like, let's imagine that there is a God. I don't like even saying the word God, but let's imagine that there is a supreme being, a supreme consciousness, and that it is paying attention. How do I show, other than by hearing my thoughts, oh, I don't like that. Right, well, that's good enough. which is the Catholic way. Okay, well, I'm sorry I did that. Oh, right, that's okay, then you're forgiven. But how do I show the world, including that this is not okay with me? How do I do that? A guy in America has just won a court case against the Inland Revenue, Service, the IRS in America. A guy in his 60s has just won a court case. He hasn't paid taxes since 2009 because he doesn't agree with abortion. This is one of the things that he's done. He's just said these words, okay? Apparently a woman has a right to choose, but I don't. He's saying, according to the articles of the Declaration of Independence, what's the other one called? The Constitution of America and the Bill of Rights. I have the rights to follow my faith. I think it's wrong to kill children in the womb. I have the right to not pay for children to be killed in the womb. I'm not paying any taxes that might end up filtering their way through to promoting killing of children in the womb. No, I'm not going to do that. No chance. Instead, why doesn't the Inland Revenue Service have on their tax form, tick here if you'd like to donate to, if you support the killing babies in the womb, and state how much you'd like to donate out of your taxes to it. Have that in the taxes, but in the tax forms, but they won't. So, because what would happen is you'd have the very small clique of very noisy people, only those people actually paying it. And that's action. That's action. And if you end up going to prison for it, at least you've done the right thing. Remember, guys, Muhammad Ali went to prison. Forget that he was Muslim. He was right about certain things. So Muhammad Ali went to prison for not joining the war effort for Vietnam, for not signing up. He went to prison. He said, those guys haven't done anything to me. In fact, they haven't done anything to any Americans. That was the right thing to do. So do the right thing, for goodness sakes. When I do these videos, that's why I'm doing these videos, because I think that's the right thing for me to do. Me not doing these videos, I don't think is the right thing to do. Now, Wolfie was trying to hijack the whole, all it takes for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing, which would mean, well, Antonio's doing evil and I'm trying to stop it. Like, really, really, pointing out that you can't plot your route on a globe, is that evil? But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about not doing anything. All of you guys that have channels that share stuff, and even all of you guys who don't share stuff but comment, or even all of you guys who are just looking, the reason that you're looking is you feel that it's the right thing to do. Now, it's not because you can't control your feelings, like the pedo apologist was trying to say. It's because you're letting your feelings guide you. Anyway. Emerald Rider, moving to Russia or Mexico if Trudeau gets re-elected. Mexicans know how to protect their culture, so do Russians. That's right. People don't really hear this, So you have lots of Mexicans going to the US because of work. It's like, it's not just because of work. It's because they have family that have gone to the US. They have families that went to the US hundreds of years ago and are still there. I mean, just look at the surnames, So they have people that... But then, let's see how many Muslims there are in Mexico. And when you think of the evil of the Jews, think if the Jews are so evil, if the Jew thing is not just a bit of a kind of another experiment test thing, why didn't the Jews demolish the golden what's it? Mosque or the Silver Mosque? It's Israel. Why don't they just demolish it? Let's face it, it's built on the ruins of their own demolished temple, so the story goes. Why would they not say, oh, so this is Israel now? Well, that can go. The world is just so much more complex and weird than we think. Oh, yeah, Iceland. Yeah. Pun intended. Yeah, Iceland too. In fact, I think if lots of people move to Iceland, that would be very good for Iceland. Iceland is having a problem with procreation, a much bigger problem than in the West. Think of this, guys. 300,000 babies who would be Americans are dead, didn't make it because of the abortion. So look at how many children were born and increase that number by 300,000 year in, year out. But you need more workforce, so you better bring in Muslims. Like, no, if you need more workforce, stop abortions. Oh, anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to go. I'm going to try and watch something happy and chill. So thank you very much for your time, guys. And yeah, and this was the last time that I address any of that silliness with the, what's it called? The imposter. I will be making a couple of images showing the eye height difference just lined up. And I'll be sharing those around, but I won't show them on a video. This literally is the last time that I talk about the monster. Okay, thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Laters all. Oh, wait. Just wanted to say this. Wolfie mentioned how old I'd gone very quickly. It's like, look, Wolfie, I don't think you understand lighting very well. Okay. And I don't think you understand how hair actually changes features. I said that the monster would say that the hair had changed its features. It's like, no, it doesn't actually change the features, but it changes how they appear. Now, if I grow my hair back to where it was, I'll look a bit more boyish because that hair was boyish, a bit long locks, you know. Compared to my friends, I keep track. Compared to my friends and how quickly they're aging, I'm aging almost magically slowly. That's right. And if you like, I'll make a tiny, next time I go to the, in fact, I will do this. One of them, the one who looks the oldest, will not be on the video. He's very camera shy and he's very internet shy. But the other two, they've already made a video, daytime, nighttime, guys. We'll compare the three of us, okay? And let's see who's the youngest. Right, guys, thank you very much. Thanks for your time.